Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Flash, The Fried. Oh, yeah, it's the show. Everybody loves this one. Ha ha. This is our news show.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Our news show. Dude, can I show you guys something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Show us.
I went on kind of like a Cthulhu tear recently. I needed a new mask. So I got this Cthulhu mask, right? Which is pretty cool.
Full screen, Paul. Oh, that is pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
I'll do it too.
I got this like Cthulhu gator mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a doctor's appointment today, and I threw this thing on, right? And I was like about ready to walk out of the house with it. And I noticed like it's got, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like a pentagram right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I shouldn't go out walking in fucking Louisiana with a pentagram on my face. Maybe I should just wear one of my normal masks, you know?
Hey there. What you doing there, Satanists?
I just didn't want to put myself in the position where
Look there, this dang devil worshiper out there.
Yeah.
Fucking worships the devil. It's not even a pentagram either.
I also got a dope ass Cthulhu Zippo as well. It's kind of hard to see, I'm sure, but it's got Cthulhu on it, and it says Relie underneath.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all about Cthulhu over here, TJ.
Cthulhu.
Hey, Paul, you know what? I'll send you a picture of my sign and for my political sign.
Oh
for
yeah,
my
that's
house.
true. Scotty's got a Cthulhu sign in front of his house. He's got a Cthulhu 2020 sign.
Sweet.
Why vote for a lesser evil?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that meme has been around for, I don't know, like at least 10 years, and people are still doing it.
Yeah.
They're still doing this like, well, it's a little less evil. It's like, oh, boy.
Oh, believe me, you'll be begging. These people will soon be begging for Cthulhu, merciful justice, the tentacles of justice to sweep them away into oblivion.
I think you're right, Scotty.
Cthulhu and me. It's beautiful.
The irony then will be Cthulhu will just leave them to their own devices. Please, Lord Cthulhu, save us! It pleases me more to watch you suffer.
Is that how Cthulhu talks?
I don't know.
I didn't know he was so foppish, you know?
Well, Cthulhu,
I am
Cthulhu.
I delight in the suffering of mankind.
That's the voice I gave him.
I love it. It's so
It's
whimsical.
me, Cthulhu. How are you doing today? Suffering. What's new?
I'll never-
Not much, then.
You know, I'll never look at Cthulhu the same. Every time I see him, I'm going to hear you doing that voice now. Oh, it's me, Cthulhu.
I refuse to allow my conception of Cthulhu to be tainted.
I know.
I've already forgotten what Scotty's
I'm sure you have.
impersonation sounded like.
Yeah, you already have no idea what we're talking about.
Paul just like, where am I? What's going on?
Why are we talking about Lord Cthulhu again? Huh?
I don't know.
Master.
Probably not smart to invoke his name lest you be one of his cultists.
Oh, yeah.
How do you know we're not?
How do you know I'm not?
Oh, yeah.
Because a follower of Cthulhu would never ask such a question, Paul.
Oh, yeah?
Only a non-follower of Cthulhu deals in absolutes, Scotty.
Hmm.
A nice Star Wars ripoff, Paul.
I don't know what you're talking about, Scotty.
I got a hentai moan.
Yeah, you do? Okay, let's hear it.
It's real brief, but, you know.
No, that's not good enough. You got to find one of those ones that's like, Desune.
Yeah, you're right. It's way too brief, so I need a more detailed one.
Yeah.
But
Oni-chan. That's what you need, dude. That's how it sounds.
I always love Paul's anime impersonations.
Yeah. I only really have the anime girl getting fucked and the anime villain. That's really the only two anime.
You know what? They're still good though. They're definitely spot on in my opinion.
do the anime villain.
Dokito la mancha da munta. De honche desune. No, desu. Ay, nani? Monchita batatia.
I just love that that's Paul's 2 impressions. For
Sounds
anime.
very. Yeah. The villain.
I think I know why.
The villain sounds like a skinny Jabba the Hutt to me.
He does. It's really closer to Jabba the Hutt than it is actual Japanese.
It doesn't matter, man.
But it sounds. He sounds skinnier though. You know, because you can hear. I can hear it coming out of an anime dude. You know, like a.
Yeah, because those anime dudes are all like they've got black hair, one eye covered, and it's all spiky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their hair is
their
hair is either pure black or like like totally white.
Yeah,
and they have like that like real like hard look on their face with like maybe like a couple lines under their big ass anime eyes that are kind of like sharply angled downwards. You know?
Oh, dude, you know what it could be? It could be fucking hot. It could be hot Jabba. It could be Jabba before he was, as fat and as fucking successful. Dude, it could be a fucking Jabba fucking prequel going back to Jabba's origins, dude.
That's true.
Yeah. Didn't we have a pitch wars about that? Or was that just like something?
Jabba?
No, like the rise of Jabba, you know?
I don't think so.
No? That must have been something we just
You
talked about
might have mentioned something about it in your
my Lando
pitch
thing or something. Yeah. But man, like, yeah, Jabba rising through the ranks would be a pretty cool Star Wars movie or TV show.
Yeah.
Who's to say
cool.
that Jabba ever rose through the ranks? Maybe he was
That's
just
true. Maybe he was just
into-
born into a Jabba-ness or whatever. Hutness. I don't know.
I mean, that's possible too. But even then, I almost like a Game of Thrones-esque thing with like all the do you guys know what Jabba's race is? I'm not really sure.
Are they called Hutts?
They're Hutts. They're
Yeah.
from Hutta.
Oh, really? So they're okay.
Yep.
Hutt is actually their race. Okay, I never actually knew that.
Hutts are their race. Yeah, they're from Hutta.
Dude, I want Hutts. I want the fucking Hutts Game of Thrones, dude. Fucking Jabba, Jabba's born like 8th in line or something, and then Jabba fucking, of course, then he can rise that way too. So that it still works. It still works.
Da 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 da. Yeah. And then on the 8th season, it can get really shitty and just like to have that rushed ending.
Sounds wonderful.
I have come with my dragons to depose you from your throne, you evil Hutt. Dono chico waka putukula hapachio.
I like how everything he said he laughed at. He was like the Pawn.
Because he's hilarious.
Yeah, he was like the Pawn Stars guy. You ever watch that fucking shit? You know, like I can't.
Yeah, Rick.
Rick
on
Harrison.
Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
he says he's
everything.
like, well, I'm going to call a guy because, quite frankly, I don't know anything about these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What an idiot. I'm going to leave the room and come back in a second. I think I'm dropping.
Yeah, I think you are a little bit.
My favorite thing from Pawn Stars, they had a thing with they have like a picture of Rick Harrison. It's like like a picture's worth 1,000 words. He's like, best I can do is 350. It's like, yeah.
That dude,
that motherfucker.
I've literally seen that
ahead.
dude tell like the lamest joke possible, and then like double over laughing at his own shit. Like,
And then there's usually like a cut to Chum Lee just shaking his head, like that ain't funny.
ugh.
You're a boomer, Rick.
Yeah, that fucking show. Is that still on? Is that still happening?
Oh yeah, dude. That show's it's like fucking 18th season or something.
Yeah. They're making money hand over fist on that motherfucker. So anyway, I guess we should get to the news. So grand jury indicts one officer on criminal charges 6 months after Breonna Taylor fatally shot by police in Kentucky. This story is kind of not really very detailed about it, but the takeaway here, much better on the HuffPost here. No cops charged with murder and killing of Breonna Taylor. One police officer was charged with wanton endangerment. Those charges were tied to shots fired into neighboring apartments, but not Taylor's. So basically,
the one charge that was filed is basically worse than if they just let the guy skate. It's like a fuck you. It's like, yeah, we'll put a charge on him, but it's going to be a lesser charge, and it's going to have nothing to do with the apartment that he fired into in which Breonna Taylor was killed. It's just the other 2 bullets that didn't hurt anybody that went into neighboring apartments that he's in trouble for. And the other 2 people that were on the scene that night, totally exonerated. Louisville is going to burn tonight.
A grand jury in Louisville, Kentucky, has indicted Detective Brett Hansiken in the case of a shooting death of Breonna Taylor, charging him with 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment. No charges were filed against Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly and Officer Miles Cosgrove, the other 2 officers who were at the scene the night Breonna Taylor was fatally shot. Notably, no murder charges were filed against any of the men. First-degree wanton endangerment is a felony that comes with a sentence of up to 5 years in prison under Kentucky law. Jefferson County Circuit Judge Annie O'Connell issued a warrant for Hansiken's arrest in a Wednesday hearing and set his bail at $15,000. The charges were tied to shots fired into neighboring apartments, not those shot inside Taylor's. O'Connell read the charges aloud, linking each to the occupant of 3 apartments that Hansiken wantonly shot into by listing her initials. She did not say BT for Breonna Taylor, suggesting that the grand jury did not deem the shots fired into her apartment as meeting the bar for wanton endangerment, even though those are the shots that actually killed somebody. Yeah, I mean, the fact that this cop was firing bullets into unrelated apartments is pretty crazy. And I'd actually never heard that aspect of this case before. So that is kind of fucking nuts that, that these cops had such blatant disregard for not only the apartment they were firing, in, they meant to be firing in, which they shouldn't have been firing shots in, but also just like total disregard for even neighboring shit. Just like, just fire bullets wantonly all in this fucking apartment complex. Cause like, who gives a shit who fucking dies?
The good old boys network never learns from historical precedent ever.
Yeah.
So in 65 and Watts, a cop beat and arrested a man for simply walking down the street in full view of a bunch of people that lived there. And that set off one of the biggest riots in American history. Then in 1992, Rodney King was filmed being beaten savagely by a group of white racist cops. They went before a grand jury just like these cops did and were exonerated, and Los Angeles burned again. And it's like,
well, they went to trial, didn't they? The police officers in that case were charged.
They went to trial and were exonerated. Yeah.
Well, you said they went to a grand jury.
Yeah, that got a little bit past the grand jury stage, but not much, because they were exonerated completely in their trial. I
mean, I agree with Paul. I mean, like, I don't think this is not a cover up, because look, there have been so many details of this case that have been obviously in favor of the police. Number one, the police. This was reported I think like to the mainstream media, and this became a big deal like months after it happened. The reports about it happening were like, here's the official police report. Most of it was redacted. It was bullshit.
Listen to this statement.
I mean,
hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Scotty, but this is crazy.
Go ahead if you have.
The facts have been examined, and a grand jury comprised of our peers has made a decision, Cameron said at a press conference following the charging announcement. Justice is not always easy. It does not fit the fold of public opinion.
I was trying to play a fart noise. And
get out of here, Third Eye Blinds. What are you doing here?
No, I'm sorry.
That's public opinion, dude.
Is.
Public opinion. That's what this is about. This is about public opinion.
So the public you represent does not matter. What they feel does not matter. What occurred that night does not matter. The narrative the police says, and the police have said before the grand jury, is all that mattered. And of course, yes, that's okay. Oh, guys, remember though, there's no body cams, but there's actually physical evidence and photos from the crime scene. But there's no evidence, guys. Sorry. This is a fucking goddamn cover-up. Why'd the city pay this family $12 million and agree to a bunch of policy reforms if this was just no big fucking deal? These cops are fucking walking for fucking murder. There's no other way to look at it.
Do you know what really doesn't matter? And why I believe that Louisville, Kentucky will burn tonight? Is what really doesn't matter is the fact that Black people have to make a consideration when they put their head on their pillow in Louisville, Kentucky, that their door may be kicked in by cops and they may be shot, and it may be completely legal for that to happen for absolutely no reason.
Yep.
So that's what this is about. This is not just about one person. This is about the people that live in this fucking city not having to live in fear of the very public servants their tax dollars support.
Yeah.
And this grand jury fucking decision has told them that indeed they do. If they are going to be members or citizens of Louisville, Kentucky, indeed they do need to fear for their lives in the sanctity of their own homes every night and every day. Do you think that people placed under that yoke are going to sit around forever? No. If that yoke was around your neck, if you put yourself in those people's shoes, if you're a white person, let's just assume for a second that we live in a black majority country and white people are getting their doors kicked in and shot at. How comfortable would you feel putting head to pillow in Louisville, Kentucky tonight?
Not very.
I don't think anyone. I don't think. Look, and I'll be honest with you, Paul. I go a step further. I don't think anyone in Louisville or any place in this country should put their head in their pillow easy at night, because the police have been shown time and time again to do this to almost anybody and get away with it.
Well, you're right about that.
Absolutely, but
they just do it.
I mean, obviously,
they definitely do it more. But yeah.
I mean, of course, that they target different.
I mean, we covered on our cop show here. I mean, we did a show all about police brutality, and black people are not the exclusive target of police violence, of course, even unjustified shit, but they are disproportionately affected by that issue, right, for sure.
Right, they're disproportionately targeted.
So like this
there's tons of people that say, "Oh, more white people killed by police every year." Yeah, as a percentage of the population.
I love that argument. Like that's supposed to be some kind of relief, anyway. Oh, okay.
No, you're killing white people too.
Oh, every race. Never mind. And that's a horse of a different color.
Another issue with this decision too, and we all knew this was going to happen. Is that, of course, another secretive sort of grand jury thing is going to come about. And like when we did the episode of Amy Klobuchar, that's something we looked into. It was like, wait a minute, these grand juries, there's really no accountability. They make these decisions in secret, and then it's like, okay, either the charges are going to happen, they're not going to happen. And surprise, surprise, when these cases with cops killing people go to grand juries, almost uniformly, the cop is found to is not going to be facing any sort of charge or a lesser charge. Oh, wow, what happened again?
Grand juries never get to hear things like you get to hear in trial, like victim impact statements and community impact statements. None of the people that were giving press conferences today were allowed to speak to that grand jury about the way that this particular killing has affected particularly the black community in Louisville, Kentucky. So they didn't get to hear a single word about that.
And the state was able to defend itself at every fucking turn and raise reasonable doubt and make every possible argument.
Just to recap some of this stuff, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, called 911 when the officers burst in. Walker shot at them in self-defense, striking one officer in the femoral artery. The officers responded by firing more than 24 bullets, striking Taylor 6 times. Only one of the bullets was fatal, Cameron said Wednesday. I don't know what is happening, Walker can be heard saying in his frantic 911 call. Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend. Lieutenant Ted Edem of the Louisville Police Department, Public Integrity Unit, claimed afterward that the officers had knocked several times and identified themselves as police before they entered. Taylor's family, including Walker, disputed this as a wrongful death suit filed in May. None of the officers were wearing body cameras. Of course not.
Shocking.
Walker later told police that he and Taylor heard loud banging.
Even though there's evidence from the crime scene that might not even be true. We don't know. They say the cops didn't have any body cameras or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, even if there were body cams at this point, there were no body cams, Scotty.
Yeah. Right. So
first thing Taylor said was, "Who is it?" No response. "Who is it?" Loud at the top of her lungs. No response, Walker told police. So I'm like, what the heck? So I grab my gun. It's legal. I have a license to carry. I've never even fired a gun outside of a range. There's another knock at the door. She's yelling at the top of her lungs. I am too at this point. Who is it? They would not identify themselves. You got someone banging at your door. Someone bursts in. You know what I mean? Like
what, 2 a.m. or some shit?
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's one down.
If you have a gun, if you're allowed to have guns in this country for self-defense, then what fucking circumstance are you allowed to use it in if not the circumstance of someone's banging down your door and will not identify themselves? Like, that seems like, to me, like, that's the exact scenario that you have a gun for home defense for.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
now all these gun nuts in the NRA and shit should be fucking interested in this case too, because it's like, you know, if you got a gun for home defense and, you know, like if someone's banging down your fucking door and you want to be able to use that gun to defend your home, you got to fucking be like, okay, 50-50 chance this is a fucking cop with a no-knock warrant, you know?
I mean,
what I'm about to do might be legal or it might not, depending on who it is.
There's one issue in this case that makes me think that the NRA isn't going to show up. And I'm trying to think of
But I'm just saying that even setting their racist bullshit aside, like this does affect that kind of shit.
No, of course it does, but it just shows the hypocrisy of the NRA. The NRA doesn't give a fuck about gun rights. They give a fuck about white people being able to hoard guns. That's the central focus of the NRA.
I mean, the fact that we haven't heard from them on this case at all kind of just says it all on that.
Of course we haven't, because a black person was killed, and when a black person gets shot with a gun, when somebody else in the house is trying to defend themselves from a no-knock warrant and a bunch of people who didn't identify themselves kicking their door in, it doesn't matter because that person was black and shouldn't have had that gun.
I mean, just not to mention like the fact that, I mean, you have a no-knock warrant. Look, there's other ways to do these things. Like these basically going into a home is one of the most dangerous things these cops probably do, which is probably why they're like, but I mean, unless it's absolutely necessary, like there's a violent felon with a gun threatening to fucking kill everyone on the block or something, like that needs to really not be.
There are a billion ways cops can go about arresting a suspect in a drug bust or whatever the fuck they're alleging they kicked this door down for, that don't involve showing up at 2 a.m. and kicking their door down and killing the guy's girlfriend.
Yeah,
this dude leaves his house. Guaranteed this dude leaves his house. When he leaves his house, you arrest him in public. You wait till he comes out the door. You wait till a safe spot, and you run up on him and you get him.
I mean, this wasn't even. They weren't even. This wasn't even the place they intended to be. So like,
well, it was on, like, from what I understand, it was on a list of places that they had applied to do a no-knock warrant.
Well, there isn't even. There was not even any drugs or drug paraphernalia found. There.
So why they're on that list, who knows?
So,
I have a feeling I know why.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I've got a feeling it's
right.
that same feeling I had earlier. Why the NRA ain't showing up.
Disney remakes aren't good because they don't need to be. Oddities that still manage to churn out money. Blockbuster movies.
I got it.
Don't get much stranger than the Disney live-action remake, beginning in earnest with 2015's Cinderella, 2014 if you count Maleficent, which I do not. There's been at least one new film every year, culminating in 2019 with a staggering 4 live-action remakes of animated classics. Just about every single one of them is an oddity, massively successful, but never really beloved. Buzzed about more for the litany of ways they disappoint than their box office success. You'd think some of them became billion-dollar films by accident, falling ass backwards into piles of money the vast majority of filmmakers have never dreamed of making. Watching them all, and you can watch just about every one of them now thanks to Disney Plus, feels weird more than anything. If you're someone who grew up with the animated classics they adapt, screening most of these remakes is like watching yourself on camera. You only notice the things that are off or seem wrong, like mistakes. If it does anything right, you can appreciate it, but it's not going to overshadow the discomfort of what feels like dozens of poor choices. At Screen Crush, critic Josh Spiegel writes that they all seem to have the same problem, a robotic devotion to the animated film that came before them. Because of this, they're less like movies and more like concerts, except you're going to an arena to see a cover band, and they're not even that good.
I would like to know what drugs that Josh Spiegel takes on a regular basis if he thinks that a robotic devotion to the animated film that came before it, because I've seen parts of like Lion King and I saw Aladdin, and I don't feel like that is at all true. That is not at all accurate.
I think the better take would be a complete lack of devotion to the animated classics that they're readapting. Because even a robotic sense of devotion might come across as something that's worth watching.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
if all they were was just like rote retellings done in live action, they would have been better than what they was delivered. If it literally just been like, we're just gonna put this and make it live action, like line for line, word for word, whatever we can do to make it as much like the original as possible, that would have been better than what the fuck was put out. So I don't know what this like robotic devotion shit is coming from.
The only one that I ever saw was the Beauty and the Beast one, and it was really bad.
Okay,
it had
Mulan, for example.
Did you see Mulan?
Yeah, Mulan, for example. No, I haven't seen it, but I can tell you something because me and Taylor read about it because she loves Mulan from when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's no songs in it. How's that a robotic devotion? They took out, Mushu, remember him? Not in it. Where's the robotic devotion there? What the fuck is this guy talking about? Has he actually seen the movies that are being discussed? Because that just like that was quoted in the article. It's like that blows my fucking mind. Like, what are you talking about? This robotic devotion, dude? Like that'd be a fantasy to me for Disney to have a robotic devotion. They just fucking make whatever they can make. And at the end of the day, I agree. Yeah, they're gonna make a bunch of money because a bunch of fucking dupes are gonna go see it, and a bunch of kids are gonna go see it. One and the fucking same.
Well, that's really like the reason why Disney doesn't need to make good movies, and it really is part of getting old. Back in the day, every generation used to get its own classics. Like we had our classics, and then the next generation we get their classics, and the next generation we get their classics, and it was very easy to go back and as a film buff, appreciate those classics and stuff. Now we're in a phase where we've conglomerated the movie industry to the point where nothing new is really getting made, and it's just retreads of old things. But the thing is that your 6-year-old or 7-year-old or 8-year-old, when you take them to see Mulan or the Aladdin remake or the Lion King remake, probably runs out of there loving it. See, this is the thing. Like, people are not willing to admit that these movies are not being made for them anymore. They feel like they should be, and I kind of agree that they should be. These movies are great because, in large part, people embraced them so openly and gave them this huge status in society. But that seems to go by the wayside now. Like they no longer care. They don't care. It's the same reason with the Star Wars prequels. While we kept going, back to see those, and then the sequels, we kept going back to see those, hoping at some point that they would give a flying fuck what the people that watched the original Star Wars thought and wanted out of the film. And every time they showed that they didn't, and every time they made $1 billion.
Yep.
So it's like they're not making movies for you anymore. They're making movies for your children, and they're making movies for the Chinese market. Those are the reasons why they're making $1 billion. The way you can fight it is quit taking your fucking kids to it, idiot. A 7-year-old doesn't have enough money to go see a movie and isn't allowed to go see a movie on their own any fucking way.
Yeah, so next time your kid's like, I want to see the remake of whatever the fuck. They're running out of things to even remake. I want to go see the remake of Aladdin. It's like, no.
You want to hear a real boomer opinion?
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a parent, so maybe this is not as easy as I make it out to be. How about not letting your kids get bombarded with ads for shit movies in the first place?
Yeah, there you go.
How about finding things for your kids to do that don't involve plopping them down in front of a movie so that they can get hyped up for the next movie that you don't want them to see? How about that? No. Boomer. Paul's a boomer. Parental fucking responsibility. Boomer. All right. I tell you what, dude, these are going to keep making $1 billion as long as you parents keep bitching about how bad they are, but taking your little shit eaters to them.
Oh, believe me, like, I don't like, as far as I'm concerned with this shit, like Mulan and all this stuff, like, man, there ain't no way I'm gonna spend $30 on fucking Mulan. It's a fucking joke. I have not wanted to see any of these.
It's not even just $30. You got to have a fucking Disney Plus subscription too. So it's like whatever that is plus the $30 to fucking
$9.99 plus $30
to see a terribly reviewed fucking version of Mulan where none of the songs happen. Where Mulan apparently starts the movie invincible. Like there's no like learning curve. She just like is born a badass now. There's no fucking, like the comedy relief characters are all gone. The music is all gone. The movie is like totally self-serious. apparently like Mulan has like no character whatsoever. She's just like, I am Mulan. I am a badass.
You know what's gone? You know what's gone from this movie is any sort of fucking soul. Some ineffable quality that made people fall in love with this Disney Renaissance properties like The Lion King, like Mulan, like Aladdin, all these things that people go, oh my God, I fucking love this. Oh, when I grew up, it was so great and so wonderful. And have drawn fucking, hundreds of millions of people to the fucking theme parks to Florida and to California to see, just have a chance to see this kind of shit. And this generation is just getting this empty, soulless version. And I agree with
dude.
I felt that way when I saw the Beauty and the Beast one. I was just like, I went and saw it, and I was like, okay, there was some cool production design and shit, but like other than that, it was just horrible.
I can tell just looking at the fucking little tidbits that come out in trailers that these movies are fucking garbage.
Complete
fucking
garbage.
Total garbage, dude. I will tell you this. I had kind of a semi-joking hot take on Twitter a few days ago. I said that if somehow and plausibly Dune sucks, I'm never going to see a new movie ever again.
Right.
It's old movies or nothing from that point out. Now, I don't know if I'll actually stick to that, but I got to tell you, dude, if it maybe it'll be for the better. That was my follow-up tweet. Maybe Dune sucking will finally get me to unhinge myself and unanchor myself from current filmmaking and just focus my time on appreciating when film was an actual medium where art was made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop hyping myself up for these movies. Stop being disappointed about what comes out, what's getting remade. Just say fuck it. You know, I'm genuinely considering it. Dune. It all hinges on Dune. All roads lead.
Would you stop watching indie shit too? Because I feel like there's some good stuff that comes out of that every now and then, but
yeah, indie shit is different. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like main blockbuster kind of big budget, big push movies where there's a big ad push behind them and a big cultural push behind them and a big meme push behind them. I get swept up in these like other people do. You know what I mean? And if Dune turns out to be just some fucking pale shade of what it should be, I think I'm done.
Paul's like, man, no more.
Or what? Like, there
can't
what?
take no
Like
more
probably
punishment.
fucking like 500,000. There are probably like 500,000 movies I've never seen.
Yeah, something like that. Some crazy.
Conservatively.
Sure, me too. You can't possibly.
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
there's just too many movies for one person to watch, really.
Like when we're looking at shit like this that's on the screen here, where basically Hollywood has stopped being creative and has become a factory where it just goes back to the previous generation, takes everything out of it, sucks the soul out of it, and repackages it again.
Yeah.
Like what's the fucking benefit to me as a movie buff for continuing to be fucking invested in that shit?
Here's what I'm curious.
There isn't.
Here's what I'm curious about. They're fucking totally banking 100% on nostalgia at this point. They're banking on like nostalgia and like, recognizable property, the recognizable property name. Like there's a name to this movie. You already go in seeing like, what Mulan is. This is our new Mulan. Like what happens when they've like gone, like what happens when they just like have gone through this cycle 100 times and it's not 100, but like it's just like, are we going to have like nostalgia for the nostalgia for like, is it just going to be like, they're just going to repackage this shit endlessly until people eventually are like, oh, okay, I guess I don't want to watch this anymore.
Do you want to hear something that's going to disgust the ever loving fucking shit out of you?
Yeah.
In 15 to 20 years, there will be people our age looking back fondly on the Star Wars sequels and that can't wait for the new ones. And guess what those new ones are going to do for the fans of the old Star Wars sequels? Disappoint the ever-loving fuck out of them.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the same boots that we're in with nostalgia for a property that was trash anyway, but they didn't know any better because they were kids when they fucking saw it.
Yeah. I've already seen this cycle happen with the prequels where it's like, this is garbage and it comes out, but now the new generation's like, actually, prequels are fucking, because it's theirs. They just want it. They like it because it's their generation's shit. Like, oh, that was when I was a kid. It's like, yeah, but it sucks.
Mid-millennials all fucking revere not all, but a lot of them revere the fucking prequels. Zoomers are all going to revere the fucking sequels, and they're going to eventually be our age getting disappointed by Disney by watching something that they thought was good get turned into something they don't think is good.
Yeah.
And that's how Disney is going to keep doing this, TJ. They're going to rehash their shit every generation, disappoint the old fans because piss on them. We've already got their money. We want that new money. We want their kids' money now. That's where the dollar is. That $18 to $25. That's the big money dollar because it's coming from mom and dad in a lot of places.
Dude, you gotta fucking love it, dude. The only thing that we all agree on, I'm not talking about just us, but every generation, is how these giant companies have fucking sucked the life out of these properties and fucked us. Because you're exactly right, Paul. I'm just waiting for that day when I hear, like, 10 years from now, when I'm an old man land, hearing these people, you know what? They're ruining Star Wars with these other sequels that suck. Oh, man, I just can't wait, dude. I'm like, we warned you, motherfuckers. We warned you, bitches. We told you. Didn't listen to us. You made fun of us. You called us boomers. Now you're the fucking boomer, bitch.
None of the delightful side characters like Poe are represented in this new Star Wars trilogy. It's almost like they've forgotten what we loved about the original fucking movies.
Oh, I can't wait for old man Poe. So all these actors can be over the hill then. Oh, yeah, look at him. Oh, they did Poe wrong. Oh, they did Finn wrong. Oh, no, you've ruined it.
This new villain doesn't have half the gravitas that Snoke did. You guys miss me yet? You guys ready for the miss me yet Snoke memes? Because they're coming.
Yeah.
That's why I'm smoking, by the way. I don't want to be around for when that happens. But you go ahead and lose weight and quit smoking, TJ. I'd rather not see it.
I'm going to make those memes. Fucking yeah, Snoke. Remember when Snoke was good? Just embrace the cringe, dude.
It's old Snoke. He had his moments, guys.
Tom Cruise is officially going to space for his next movie.
Sick.
It's out of this world. Plans for Tom Cruise's outer space film with Elon Musk have been finalized, with the trip now scheduled for 2021. The pioneering movie was announced earlier this year, confirming that Cruise had teamed up with Musk and NASA to film a new movie in outer space, set to be directed by Edge of Tomorrow's Doug Liman. The project is now firmly on its way, as Space Shuttle Almanac confirmed on Twitter that Axiom Space Station, piloted by Commander Michael Lopez Alegria, will set off on a tourist mission in October 2021 with Cruise and Lyman on board. So just confirm that Commander MLA is flying the Axiom. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So basically what we just talked about. NASA confirmed their involvement in the project earlier this year via Twitter, where NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine tweeted, NASA is excited to work with Tom Cruise on a film aboard the space station. We need popular media to inspire a new generation of engineers and scientists to make NASA's ambitious plans a reality.
I don't know if this movie is going to accomplish that, but this right here is probably the most epic nod towards practical effects that I've ever seen in movies.
That's true. You don't get much more practical than like we're shooting a space movie in space.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why this has me excited, because you know what I mean? Like they're so committed to the effects of this movie being real that they're actually shooting fucking Tom Cruise into space to film it.
Yeah.
Like, dope. I don't even care if the movie sucks, man. The precedent that this sets makes my fucking dick hard, bro.
Oh, dude, the fucking 8K or whatever there's shots of space as part of a movie, that's just crazy. Yeah, I want to see the movie regardless of it. Yeah, if it's good or not, who gives a fucking shit, dude? It's to be the first movie in fucking space, dude.
Imagine the zero G scenes that aren't filmed on one of those elliptical arc planes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're actually filmed in zero G. Imagine Tom Cruise wrestling open a fucking package of liquid and having the liquid come out and it's not fucking horrible CG that he's pretending to see. It's actually happening because he's in fucking space.
So yeah, even if Dune sucks, Paul will make an exception for this one movie. So
this was a brilliant back-to-back, TJ, because you ripped away all my fucking faith in the movie industry and then you gave it all back to me, TJ. You're playing with my emotions and I like it.
Yeah.
What the TJ giveth, the TJ taketh away. And what the TJ taketh away, the TJ can giveth.
No, I don't know what the hell the plot of this movie is going to be or anything, but
who cares? I don't care if I don't care if it's Tom Cruise meets Princess Celestia from My Little Pony up there. I'm watching this motherfucker, dude. It's shot in space. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's pretty cool shit. I mean, I can't lie. I could try, but I won't.
I'm pretty sure you can lie, TJ.
You'll die if you lie.
You'll
TJ.
die if you lie.
Billionaire Michael Bloomberg has reportedly raised more than $16 million in an effort
Billionaire
to help
Michael
convicted felons in
Bloomberg?
Florida
What the hell?
register to vote. The Florida
Where's this
Where's
coming
that
from?
You
coming from?
cannot stop it, TJ.
Hello?
There is no way.
Did okay.
Fundraising push
No.
Okay, whatever. I don't know what's going on there.
already paid off monetary.
It says no
obligations for
fucking sound. You shouldn't be playing sound.
reported. A
I don't want
Bloomberg
this.
spokesperson
All right,
told
whatever.
news
Just
outlet,
reload the page.
Yeah.
Quote, the right to vote is fundamental to our
That's great.
The right to vote is fundamental to what?
Yeah, don't play. Just
It's
don't do
fundamental
it.
to democracy.
Don't do it, okay? Bloomberg pays fines for 32,000 felons in Florida so that they can vote. Billionaire Michael the Republicans are pissed about this, by the way. Michael Bloomberg has reportedly raised more than $16 million in an effort to help convicted felons in Florida register to vote. The Florida Rights Restoration Coalition estimated Bloomberg's fundraising push has already paid off monetary obligations for 32,000 felons, Axios reported. The right to vote is fundamental to our democracy, and no American should be denied that right, a Bloomberg spokesman told the news outlet. Working together with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, we are determined to end disenfranchisement and the discrimination that has always driven it. Florida passed a law in 2018 reinstating voting rights for felons that dictated they could register only after they pay all fines, fees, and restitution, sometimes totaling more than $1,000 owed to the government. The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers Florida, last week ruled to uphold the law. Last week, several television networks also pledged to donate money to the cause. Bloomberg, who ran in the Democratic primary for president, has endorsed the party's nominee, Joe Biden, and has donated at least $100 million to the former vice president's campaign to defeat President Trump.
Do you know who else
go
is
ahead.
doing this?
Who?
LeBron.
LeBron
LeBron's doing it?
James.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I follow LeBron on Twitter, and he tweeted a couple of days ago that he wanted to hear from people in Florida who knew felons who owed fines because he was planning on trying to pay off as many people's fines as he could so that they could go and vote.
Yeah, and a lot of Republicans are saying that this is like vote buying or whatever. I don't think that anyone's telling these people who to vote for, but of course,
No.
the reason they're doing this is because they clearly know where these people are going to fall for the most part.
Right.
I know which way the wind will blow.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm sure
But
some of these
they're not
people might vote
making
for
any
Trump. They might vote for Trump, some of them.
they're not making any contingencies. They're not saying we'll pay your fines if you vote for Biden. That
Right.
would be inappropriate. They're saying we're paying your fines sight unseen so that you can vote if you choose to.
Right. Which is all you can legally do. But, you know, clearly there's like a political objective here. But I don't think there's
because
anything
a lot
wrong
of
with
the-
that.
a lot of the-
I think that there's something wrong with a system that puts voting behind a fucking paywall. But
No shit. No
like,
shit. I mean,
every
the fact
all these felons, convicted or not, paid their fines or not, in my opinion, should have the right to fucking vote. So
yeah, there's no way there should ever be a dollar amount between you and your vote.
Oh, would you like to vote? Oh, yeah, I would. Oh, would you like some hot, sexy, uncensored voting? Oh, my God, I love that. Please pay $1,000.
Ooh, you can
shit.
vote as soon as you settle up all your debts with the government. Oh yeah, now it's time to vote. Oh,
This is by the way, why voter ID laws are bullshit as well. There are people out there that paint it as, man, you got to get a simple ID. And you don't want to do that because you want illegals to vote 10 times. And it's
You
like,
want
no.
my cat to vote? Hey, you know what, Paul? My cats are going to go vote because there's no voter ID. I can just register them, right? Yeah, right.
It's
I
like-
get away with that.
It's like, no, dude, we're against voter ID laws because there is a monetary barrier between a person and getting an ID. Here, I made a tweet months ago about how much it costs to get an ID if you don't have one here in Louisiana. And I'm taking into account all of the costs that go into it, not just the fee that you pay at the DMV. Because in order to get even a state level ID at the DMV here in Louisiana, you have to have proof of residence. Well, that means you have to pay rent. So a pretty low median rent in the area that we're in is about $750 a month.
Yeah.
So already, if you don't have a fucking place to live, or you're like couch surfing or something, which a lot of people are, you can't get fucking an ID to go vote. So it's like there's already an economic barrier placed between you and your vote. The fact that felons are not denied the right to vote, but just denied the right to vote because they owe fines that they can never pay, is an obvious way to put people in a fucking prison and silence their political activism. Like, is there any other way that can be interpreted?
No.
Not to mention, like there's no rule that said someone else can't pay the fine. If it follows the rules and the laws, who gives a shit who pays the fine? If the government's purpose is truly just to get the money, then they wouldn't care where the money came from.
So I hate Bloomberg, and I think it's self-serving, but I don't have any problem with it. I think it's 100% cool.
No, it's fine.
Whatever his objectives may be, whatever selfish ends there might be to it, I still support it.
I just don't know. I just don't know how far the support is going to get. Like, he's going to? So he'll pay their fines for them, but is he going to pay the money that it takes for them to get IDs and register and all of that shit?
I don't think they have voter ID laws in Florida, or maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, how?
I'm not sure.
What if the dude in prison is there and doesn't have an ID? You have to have some kind of ID to vote anywhere, right? You can't just, your name has to be on the voter rolls.
Yeah,
right?
your name has to be on the voter rolls. But
Yeah, you have to be on the rolls.
I never had to present ID anytime I voted. I've just shown up and been like, I'm Thomas Kirk.
Right. Well, the 2 times I voted no. I'm thinking of local. So in local elections, maybe it's different because I've never voted in person for a national election. I've always done an absentee.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've always voted. The times I've voted in person. I don't believe I've ever been asked to show ID.
Yeah, I don't know. It was many, many years ago. So
I voted in California. Sure. They didn't ask me to see an ID, and I voted in where was it? Ohio for legalizing weed, and they didn't ask me for an ID.
Yep, I just showed up and like, hey, I'm Thomas Kirk. Give me my fucking ballot.
I mean, at the very least, then this money will ensure that these people can vote if they choose to, which I don't got a problem with.
But I'm not sure what Florida's laws are. They might have ID laws, but even still, this is obviously an attempt to get. I mean, Florida. Every fucking election is right there on that razor's edge. It seems, and this one's no different.
Instead of bitching about it, why don't the Republicans push their stupid dementia-addled orange to fucking commute the sentences of nonviolent felons all over the fucking country?
Well, before the BLM protests and stuff, Trump kind of was leaning a little bit on like a prison reform issue, but now that stuff's happened, he's totally abandoned that for this more like law and order rhetoric that he's doing now.
Now he's law and order. Yeah,
law and order. It's like, all right, good for you, bud. Seattle City Council votes to override mayor's veto of cuts to police budget.
Good.
So the city council voted to override Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin's recent veto of cuts to the police department's remaining 2020 budget by a 7-2 vote, with the mayor issuing a statement after the fact indicating she might not adhere to all the provisos laid out in the city council's proposal. We cannot look away from this, and we can no longer accept the status quo if we truly believe that Black Lives Matter, said Council President Lorena Gonzalez after expressing that she would be voting to override the mayor's veto. Council members Alex Peterson and Deborah Juarez were the 2 dissenting votes in the special session and key vote Tuesday. City Council originally approved the cuts in a 7-1 vote in early August. Mayor Durkin vetoed the legislation shortly thereafter. The council's now finalized cuts include eliminating up to 100 sworn officer positions across various teams via layoffs and attrition, including 32 patrol officers beginning in November 2020, capping command staff pay at $150,000, not including the chief's salary, which was reduced to $275,000, and ending the navigation team. Although the council's budget is now officially passed, it may need to make modifications in the days ahead. The proposal necessitated serving layoff notices to affected SPD staff 3 months ahead of the effective date in November. Because we are now mid-September, that effectively doesn't leave enough time to recoup the salary savings that would have flown from these layoffs in 2020, Central staff told the council on Monday. We are not going to be able to effectuate the intent of these provisos because it is the middle of September. We need at least 3 months to get an understanding, blah, 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 blah. So these are pretty mild cuts, in my opinion. And it's like crazy to me that this was even like a battle from the mayor. Because this is just like
I mean, these are mild
firing
cuts.
100 cops, lowering a few salaries, ending some kind of navigation team, which I don't even know what that is, but maybe that's a bigger deal than I know.
It's a step in the right direction. I have known nothing about the navigation team, but if they can take that money and put it into other community resources, I think that's going to be better spent than having more cops.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. But these seem like very mild cuts to the police budget, so it's kind of crazy to me that this was even a battle.
Well, really,
from the mayor's perspective, you know.
We're in uncharted territories, and cities and states are going to be the first place to start experimenting with this kind of sort of. I wouldn't say just people say defund the police, but I'd say reforming the idea of the police.
What was it that Trump called Seattle, like an anarchist zone or some shit? Anarchy zone, anarchy territory, or whatever the fuck.
Portland. Obviously, he's got a thing against Bezos. You know, he has a hard on, of course, but that's all based in Seattle. So it's like it's on the other end of the country. He's like, I don't like that part of the country. It's strange and weird. You know, it's like I don't know.
Anarchist is the new pejorative.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody that's hit the streets in a protest, whether they were a grandma holding a sign or somebody in a black bloc uniform throwing a brick through a window, is an anarchist.
They're all anarchists now. You know, which you think conservatives would like anarchists because, you know, they love the small government, right?
I mean, does government get any smaller than no government?
I don't know. That's what I was saying. You know, they should be like, anarchy. But no,
so you guys want to hear the mayor's response about why she...
Yeah, go ahead and read us the mayor's response if you want, Scotty.
Mayor Jenny Durkin issued a statement shortly after the council voted to override her veto, saying that part of her, quote, overwhelming concern about the council's budget was, quote, a lack of a plan, and insinuating that her office has no plans to eliminate the navigation team as laid out in the legislation. Really? That's kind of insane. So
she's been vetoed, but she's like, I'm not going to do it. Nope.
Yeah. So this mayor should be recalled or fired or whatever needs to be done. She's not going to respect the will of the city council.
I hope. You know what I hope? I hope another bunch of stinky, smelly patchouli hippies take over another chunk of the city and call it something for a while until she leaves. You know, like I loved that Chaz shit. I know some stupid fucking shit went on, and I knew it was like there was a lot of silliness. But you know what, dude, I'm hoping that this leads to another Chaz, dude.
Yeah, I want
a new area this time and take that shit over with a bunch of Bio-Rican fucking hippies sitting around with a dirt garden that wouldn't feed one person, let alone 100. You know,
they should call
that was awesome.
It's like,
I
know the next one is Bowls, dude. Body odor liberation zone.
Do it, dude.
Man, we're
fucking be there.
No, you don't have to take. Society says you got to take a shower, man, but not in the body odor liberation zone. You know,
I'll be there in spirit, dude. I'll be there in spirit.
I mean, people fucking making giant fucking pots of like beans and shit, so people can just fart constantly. Like, eat your diet of broccoli and beans.
I want to know what the fuck, Scotty. Can you look up what the fuck this navigation team is?
So there's a lack of plan on addressing the encampments across the city. If we eliminate the navigation team, a lack of planning regarding the specific source to repay a loan, and a lack of a plan to legally reduce our force while not jeopardizing a 911 response. While the council may not be concerned about the details, I am. And they actually do matter, Durkin said in a written release.
That's great. What is the fucking navigation team? What is it?
I have it right here.
Okay.
The city of Seattle has launched the navigation team. This is the official Seattle.gov announcement in 2017 of the navigation team. So here's what they say therefore. They launched the navigation team, a specially trained team comprised of outreach workers paired with Seattle Police Department personnel to connect unsheltered people to housing and critical resources, while helping address pervasive challenges around the issue of homelessness in Seattle. So I'm assuming that...
that sounds good. What's wrong with the navigation team? What if, obviously, there must be something that they've done that's not in that mission statement.
My presumption is this. My presumption is the navigation team didn't do any of this and is just a drain on resources that didn't actually help homeless people. Because that's the party line. That's what Seattle... the government of Seattle was saying about the navigation team.
Yeah.
The navigation stash is staffed by both outreach professionals from REACH and specially trained Seattle police officers selected specifically for this unique role. The team has advanced certification in crisis intervention and de-escalation techniques that lend themselves to the daunting test. So I'm assuming that while they were supposed to de-escalate and help people who were living on the streets, I'm assuming that they did none of it.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
here's a headline. Here's a headline from the Seattle Times from August 6, 2020. It says, "Will defunding the Seattle's navigation team stop the removal of homeless camps?"
Oh, okay, so basically, this thing that was intended to help homeless people is basically just cracking down on homelessness.
Well,
and
let me read this to you.
Busting their camps up and shit.
Well, let's give you some back details on it.
Okay.
Some Seattle city council members who voted to defund the navigation team Wednesday praised the effort as a culmination of a years-long activism seeking to stop the removal of unauthorized homeless encampments. And this is a quote from them. "We want to eliminate the sweeping of homeless people and do actually outreach. That's why we're talking about disbanding the navigation team." So
Okay.
I guess a lot of people feel like this. Okay, here's another quote. "Remember, only a portion of encampment removals are actually being done by the navigation team as the defense of it. There's a whole other subset that are done by police officers. And I think as long as the executive continues to see this as a policing issue, we can expect, whether there's a navigation team or not, for police officers to continue to do what they're doing." So basically, there's kind of a fight, it seems, going on about homelessness in the city. Like
I've found another kind of opinion source that counters that narrative about the navigation team not really being responsible. That's saying that the navigation team basically functions as the intelligence arm of the police office when it comes to deciding which homeless camps are torn down. So they go under the guise of outreach to these homeless people, talk to them, but really they're there to count how many fucking homeless people are and how hard it would be for somebody to bring in a fucking cat and, bulldoze the whole shit into a pile and take it away. You know what I mean? That's like the allegation made by this opinion piece that I found.
Understood. Okay. So basically like the scene in They Live, where they show up and bust the camp.
Ultimately. Yeah. But one way or the other, like if this navigation team was doing its job and actually helping homeless people, it wouldn't be on the fucking chopping block with the community. So.
Trump aides reportedly didn't tell him about RBG's death during rally because they feared crowd would cheer, which they would have for sure.
They would have fucking cheered. They're cheering now. Like the minute after that happened, I'm like, oh wow. Like I want to look up some different opinions, and yeah, a lot of people are definitely cheering.
Moments after President Donald Trump began speaking at a rally in Bemidji, Minnesota on Friday, the news of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing became public, yet for the duration of his speech, the president was not informed. Now, a new report explains why Trump was kept in the dark. According to the New York Times, the decision not to tell Trump about the justice's passing was a conscious one made by aides who were afraid of how the crowd would react to the news. When news broke on Friday that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died, President Trump was just 5 minutes into a campaign rally in Minnesota, and aides opted not to pass the word to him on stage. If he announced the death of the liberal justice from the lectern, they feared their crowd would cheer. Of course they would.
They would have.
Of course that crowd would cheer.
So do you know when the Republicans learned that courting the kooky, racist right wing was a bad thing? Do you remember during McCain's campaign, how hard he struggled against these fucking Tea Party idiots?
Yeah.
Oh
in these town halls. He was scared shitless to do these town halls and pass the mic around because people would say racist, stupid fucking shit or shit that was just demonstrably false. And he would have to correct his own supporters. So they've just stopped doing it. Like they of course they would have cheered. Not only would they have cheered, and here's the real worry. Not only would they have cheered, but Trump wouldn't have stopped them.
Right.
He wouldn't have said, no. That's not appropriate. We don't cheer for the deaths of people, even if she was aligned against our fucking interests. She was a human being and she served faithfully for 30 years in or however many years she did in the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Those words would never come out of Trump's mouth. He would feed off of the energy and start lobbing negative bombs at fucking RBG. Moments after she died, which would have been a double tragedy. So of course they didn't pass him this information.
Yeah, it's just damage control on their part. They're like, this is basically a gift to Trump, but we don't want to trust his instincts on this.
Of course they don't.
I wouldn't either.
Why would they?
If I was them, I wouldn't want to.
As soon as that crowd cheered, he would have had some fucking quip or joke to make.
Yeah.
No, sometimes there's a silver lining to everything. That's all I'll say. Some shit like that.
Well, instead they got the take of him coming off the stage. He looks very presidential, and it's like, oh, she was a tremendous person, blah blah blah, and okay. And then the next day it was like,
prepped.
yeah, after it was prepped, basically with how to respond, and like, she was a lion, she was a great human being, blah blah blah. By the way, we're gonna replace this bitch as quick as possible. Woohoo!
Some in the crowd shouted news of Ginsburg's passing in an effort to inform the president, but Trump was unable to hear them. Thank God.
I've got some bad news. Some might say good news, but I'm gonna say, bad news probably. Ruth Badger Ginsburg, judge, died of cancer. I'm being told cancer, very terrible, very horrible disease. But some people deserve it. Some people deserve it. I'm not saying she did. Some people would say she did. I wouldn't say that.
That would have been the take.
Yeah.
That's so right. That's so correct. It's fucking sickeningly correct. Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right. We'll end the pleb one on this note. 5 of the 6 largest California wildfires in history started in the past 6 weeks.
This is especially funny to me.
Take me down to the Paradise Center where
the air quality is oh so shitty.
Where the grass is black and the air is shitty.
Yeah.
Oh, won't you please smoke me out? Whoa, whoa.
Eventually, hey, Paul, there's some comfort for your home state. Eventually, I'm sure there'll be no forest left to burn.
Yeah, they're running out of kindling, dude.
All the trees will have burned and the skies will be clear again. I wish that were true, except for the fact that where I'm from, it's already filthy because all the soot from fucking LA descends into that valley. But
the staggering statistics keep piling up for California's wildfire season. August and September account for 5 of the 6 biggest fires in nearly 90 years of recorded history for the state. The destructive Creek Fire continues to burn in Fresno County, grew about 3,000 acres between Monday and Tuesday for a new total of 283,724 acres, leapfrogging
can you guys
the 2017
visualize?
Thomas Fire for the number 6 spot. Yeah.
Can you guys even visualize 283,000 acres?
No, I can't visualize that.
It's bigger than the entire fucking New York City area.
Yeah, I mean it's just huge.
That's
it's
crazy,
gigantic,
man.
Right? I mean, how much would that be in square miles? I mean, that's got to be a crazy amount of stuff.
I'll find out for you. I'll do a little conversion.
Thanks, so ahead of the Creek Fire, which started September 4th, are 4 massive wildfire complexes that were sparked during a freak mid-August thunderstorm. The storm pummeled Northern California and the Bay Area with thousands of lightning strikes, igniting dozens of large fires and hundreds of smaller ones. Then, gusty winds within the next few weeks caused some of the larger incidents to swell or erupt in size.
So I got that number for you. 283,700 acres is 444 square miles.
444 square miles. That's my unlucky number. You know that?
It would take you in a car to drive from the one extreme end of the Creek Fire to the other somewhere between 4 and 6 hours.
Oof.
Are you serious?
Crazy shit.
Oh, wow. That is stunning.
444 square miles. And that's just the one fire.
Yeah, that's crazy. So here is the 25 largest wildfires in California history. And here's the red ones are the ones from this year. So the August Complex Fire, which is by far the biggest fire in California history. By far.
Yeah,
it just almost dwarfs it almost doubles the runner up.
How many acres? I still got it up.
846,732 acres.
That's that is 1,323 square miles.
Right. So we're talking about 1,000 square miles of fire. I mean, obviously, it's not like the whole thing is just completely on fire the entire time.
I mean, this is a stunning.
But that's how much has burned.
Consumed 1,323 square miles of wooded area.
Crazy. So then the Mendocino Complex fire was from 2018. That was 459 acres.
Yep.
SCU Complex fire from this year is probably still going on. About 400,000. LNU Complex, another 400,000. North Complex, about 300,000. Creek Fire, about 300,000.
If you add these up, dude, it's like it's burned almost like 2.1 million acres.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's fucking insane, dude.
Just the
That's
fucking
fucking crazy.
And I mean, this is just California. I mean, we got to remember there's fires going on in
Oregon, Washington.
In Oregon and Washington as well.
I think some other states too, but I mean not as bad. But that's where the
now Washington not as bad in Washington, but they're still getting hit with the air quality dip. Like we got some of the worst air quality.
2,100,000 acres is 3,281 square miles of forest burned.
Yeah, I mean just fucking crazy. Like if there wasn't like 12 million other horrible disasters going on right now, this would be the top story in the country. But unfortunately, it's 2020, so this is just an afterthought.
Keep in mind that this is happening during a pandemic and during the biggest outbreak of racially based unrest in this country in a generation.
Mm-hmm.
About
Also,
50 years.
ecological collapse. Also, a economic collapse impending.
Yep.
With many people being kicked into the streets. And evicted from their homes because
homelessness rising, rent,
homelessness.
People, yeah.
I mean,
foreclosures skyrocketing. You know, just every fucking thing could possibly go wrong.
I'm starting to feel like Winston. The dead rising from their graves, the seas boil, the skies turn to fire. The end of everything, man. Armageddon.
So maybe I keep trying to figure out what the season finale of 2020 is going to be. Maybe it's going to be Gozer. Gozer the Gozerian shows up.
I honestly
choose the form of the destructor. We already did. Donald Trump. He's already here.
I think that 2020 is going to leave us with a teaser. I don't think that they're going to give us like a big season finale. I think they're going to tease 2021 by having Trump win the presidency. So it's like 4 years of this got you this. Wait till you see the beginning of the next 4-year season. 2021 starts soon.
Oh, yeah, they definitely got to end on a cliffhanger.
Now, what you look forward on season 2021? More wildfires, more evictions, more suffering, more death, more destruction. All coming to you.
It's got to end with something unprecedented. They got to end on a fucking bang. It's like the Atlantic Ocean is now on fire. You know, like some crazy shit. It's got to be fucking nuts.
How about this? How about the season ends with Trump being dead asleep at like 11 in the morning? And somebody wakes him up and shakes him awake, and he's like, "What are you doing? I've told you never to wake me when I'm sleeping." They say, "Sir, there have been reports of several hundred ICBMs in the air flying from both China and Russia towards the mainland. What do you want to do, sir?" Oh my God. You know what I mean? And then it
dun, 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 2021.
I like
Tune
that
in
too.
next season if you're still alive.
But I kind of favor this. Trump is lying in his bed, and like there's like a monologue over like all the bad shit that's happened, and then it just pans out, and you see space, and then you see like several like maybe like 700,000 miles away, and you see a giant asteroid just slowly spinning through space. Then you cut back to Trump, and you just cut back to the Earth.
I like the
you see the
asteroid
wildfires,
thing.
you see everything.
I like the asteroid thing, but it's too merciful for us. You know what I mean?
What about this then? What about Trump is laying in bed, right? And all of a sudden a bright light comes through his bedroom window, and he just kind of sloppily gets out of bed and closes it. And we pan like up and away from the White House and see that light is coming from an immense alien spaceship that's casting a beam of light right at the White House, and we cut to black.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like the alien angle.
Dude, I think we're at the point
You
where like
always
I
do,
almost wish
though.
aliens.
Yeah, I
would
do.
show
I'm
up
always
and
I'm down for the alien shit.
TJ is
dude,
a sucker for the alien angle.
I really am.
I believe me, I know that fucking we were talking about making that fucking Brett Keane movie or whatever that fucking was. Like she just like then randomly in the middle there'll be an alien fucking abduction scene.
There was at one point where TJ, there was one still DP was still,
This was years and years
popping.
ago.
Yeah.
And TJ and I were all fucking fired up to make this Isaac Plumbo movie, right? We were going to make this movie that was just, it was obviously based on Brett Keane. Yeah. And we had these great, like, stoned, brainstorming sessions. And then all of a sudden one night, I'm sitting in TJ's fucking living room in Ohio, and we're smoked to the fucking bone. We're just sitting there like, oh my God, talking about Isaac Plumbo, right? And I'm throwing out ideas. TJ's laughing his ass off, and then he goes, oh, I got it, dude. I got it. Isaac Plumbo, right? He's sitting at his computer one night. He's fighting with the atheists or whatever. He's typing out a mean comment, and all of a sudden, a bright light comes through his window, and he goes outside. And like, it's an alien ship, and they take him up into the fucking ship, and they do all kinds of experiments on him. And then they just like leave him outside his house. And I'm like, what?
I know, dude. I don't think I was there when the original telling happened. But I remember he came and told me this. Like, it was like the next day or something. He's like, yeah, there's gonna be a fucking alien abduction. It's gonna be great. I'm like, what the? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude?
I'm telling you, dude. Talks about that Isaac Plumbo film basically died because of this. Because that night I was like, that's a dumb idea. That's stupid. Why would you drop an alien thing? And you were like, because it'll make people go like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, you don't want people to say what the fuck was that in a bad way when they're watching your movie. Yeah, you do. And then you doubled down. You were like, I'm not even interested in doing the movie if there's no alien. And I was like, well, all right then. I guess Isaac Plumbo's never getting made then.
Yeah, if that movie ever happens, there's gotta be that alien scene though.
He's gotta get abducted.
TJ. God damn it, alien scene bullshit.
Dude, the alien scene's gotta happen. It's part of the fucking. It's the linchpin that holds the film together.
Now, I would like it if there was a joke at the end of it. If like he gets shot out of the ship, right, and he's all covered in slime and like all the little decisions they made, and he like stumbles back into his house and sits down at his computer and immediately starts making an anti-Amazing Atheist video. He doesn't even like, he's so stupid he doesn't know he's sitting on a gold mine, and he just goes like, well, attack my family. Like, he doesn't even realize, you know what I mean, that he's been given a fucking pot of gold. And just starts making some dumb drama video about G-Man or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, God.
G-Man has lied to me again situation, and our friendship is over. He's still covered in all the jelly and incisions.
See, it could be worked in.
Okay, maybe it could work. Okay, let's reopen negotiations on Isaac Plumbo.
Isaac Plumbo coming in 2022.
It was stymied by script disagreements for a number of years, but it
now
seems that we've come to an accord.
Yeah. Hey, plebs, get out.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Get out, plebs. It's time to go.
Respectful to plebs. Plebs, kindly vacate the premises.
The show goes on, but you got to go. The rest of it is for patrons.
Clear the air, gentlemen. It's time to clear the air. It's starting to reek of Gorilla BO in here. Get out, stinky bourgeois. Get out.
Get out.
Oh, wait. No. The bourgeois are not stinky. Proletariat.
Get out of here, proletariat. You fucking prole pieces of shit. Get out.
All right. Vamoose. Okay, they're gone. Fuck them.
More than 100.
Fuck them all. Really, hold on. Before you move on, fuck all plebs.
Fuck all plebs.
Fuck all plebs.
Fuck them. Fuck the plebs. Fuck the... Okay. More than 100... Oh, sorry, Scotty. Did you want to get a few fuck the plebs in?
Plebs. I say fuck the plebs.
Wee, fuck them all. More than 100,000 gallons of wastewater spilled in 5 Houston locations.
So basically, it's Tuesday in Houston.
Yeah. Just another day in Houston.
I know that New Orleans gets a bad rap, and New Orleans is below sea level, so it's pretty much always in imminent danger from flooding. But here's the thing about Houston. For my a few years ago, when I forget what the name of the storm was, the hurricane hit Houston. It was basically laid bare that the city planning for Houston is non-existent, and so is its drainage system. So this is going to be increasingly common. So a bunch of people, unfortunately, that fled New Orleans, they fled to Houston, and they're basically fleeing to a place with no real plans to deal with flooding.
What a bunch of dupes. They moved from a flood area to a flood area.
Yes, essentially that's what happened. And And if you guys are even curious, like you can go see like maps of Houston, maybe from a couple years ago. We don't want Fabletics. Okay, well maybe we do.
I do. I want some Fabletics, dude.
If we get like if we get close-ups of girls' asses, I guess then we're okay with Fabletics.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, you can have it.
Yeah.
Get you that ass. All right.
It's not a bad ass.
I mean, it's a little scrawny for me, but whatever.
But it's a tight ass though.
But if you're gonna get 2 leggings for $24, TJ, normally a $99 value.
Boil water advisory. This isn't even related to the fucking. What the hell is this?
Well, I think they're saying there's contaminated water, so there's like a boil advisory for these areas.
Fuck off. Get out of here. Pause. Goddamn piece of shit. All right, we'll just read it, I guess. The city of Houston is reporting that in excess of 100,000 gallons of wastewater were released amid tropical storm Beta, flooding north of downtown and near the Heights area along White Oak Bayou on September 22nd. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality requires public notice of significant wastewater leaks. Spills were reported in 5 locations. Here's the,
Hey, I've got some advice to people fleeing New Orleans.
Yeah.
Look in the place that you're going to and see if there's anything called a bayou. If there is, pick a new place. If not, go ahead and move there.
Go on down that bayou, boy. Boy, we're gonna go on down to that bayou.
Why would you be so stupid to flee coastal flooding from one bayou to the next?
This bayou ain't no good now. How we need to find us a new bayou.
Inland, Paul. I mean, it's more inland than New Orleans, right?
Get you down to the new bayou, boy.
We'll go from the old bayou down to the new bayou, boy. Woohoo!
Oh my God, bayou, dude.
Bayou.
Oh, Jesus.
Coming soon.
Bayou, dude.
Coming soon to a theater bayou.
I love that the word
Water.
bayou is funny in the same word and in the same way that the word fart is to me for some reason, or like poot or toot. You know what I mean? To describe a fart, like if somebody says sorry, I pooted. If somebody says sorry, I pooted to me, I will like 50. It's like a coin flip. 50% of the time I'll be like, don't worry about it, dude. Everybody farts. And the other 50% I'll almost die. Because the word poot to me is like one of the funny.
TJ's Putin Toon Shack down on the bayou.
Oh,
boy.
dear.
I think bayou sounds like a French word for fart. That's why I think it is. Like, I think, so sorry. I went to bayou. Bayou. Anyway, I'm sorry. Was this story about
It's
shitting
fine.
on Louisiana again?
Bayou. I love it.
Well, look, I mean, shit on Louisiana, like, if you go read, like, state ranking things, which I love to do, and of course, you can take it at whatever standard. You can make Louisiana number 1, I'm sure, in some standards. Very few, though.
Dude, I want to get Paul.
Our state is generally, Paul, like, if we're, like, best on the list is, like, maybe a 45 or something. Pops up, like, oh, dude, Louisiana's only the 45th worst? That's an improvement.
I saw a terrible T-shirt in my mind for Paul, dude. It has the state of Louisiana, and then it has Paul bent over, farting on it, and then it just says on the top, "Put on the bayou." You know?
You just came across it. You got our idea there.
I swear to God, man, I stopped maturing at 5 years old. I really did. I'm going to sit here and giggle the rest of this episode about
Come on down to Paul.
I want to fucking get
on the bayou.
We got to get like the fucking.
Imagine Paul going on the bayou just farting a lot.
We gotta get like the voice actor from like the Duke Nukem shit to just like say that like he pooted, you know, in like a real deep like, oh no, I've pooted, you know.
I cut the cheese. Excuse me, I pooted.
FinCEN files. Banks allowed millions in suspicious transactions despite warnings, according to leaked documents.
So another Tuesday.
Yeah. HSBC allowed 62 million, what is that, pounds in proceeds from a Ponzi scheme to pass through its U.S. business despite a warning from a regulator. Shocking. Scandal. Britain's biggest bank allowed millions of dollars to be sent around the world by scammers, despite being warned by regulators. According to leaked files, HSBC allowed $80 million, or 62 million pounds, proceeds of a Ponzi scheme to move to accounts in Hong Kong in 2013 and 2014 via its U.S. business. The revelation is one of many contained in the so-called FinCEN files, leaks published by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and its partners on Sunday night. So this is like 0% shocking to me. I would say that this is not even a revelation. This is just like business as usual. So
that's the sad
just go look
thing
up
about
the Panama
it is,
Papers, dude. This is par for the fucking course for these companies. Of course they knew what was going on.
dude, they were so worried when the Panama Papers leaked, and now that shit is out there for anybody to read. And nobody cares. It really has become business as usual to break the law in this country when it comes to financial institutions and billionaires. So yeah, this is not really news. It's just a sign that our economy is propped up on a bunch of flimsy backroom deal nonsense, and any minute a little stiff breeze is going to come by, blow the whole house of cards to the ground.
Well, the great thing about it too is that all they have to do is sit in a boardroom with a bunch of the best law firms in the U.S. because they have all the money, and they go, so if we break all these laws, what's going to happen? Probably pay a fine. And as long as you operate in this way and take all these steps, the only liability you're gonna have is gonna be like a civil liability.
They
it's
do
like,
it on purpose.
Oh shit! Our $20 billion swindle has been found out. All right, well, you need to pay a $20 million fine for that $20 billion swindle.
Okay, we will.
Oh no!
That's exactly what it is. It's like they do a cost benefit analysis, and they're like, we're gonna make $220 million breaking this law, and the largest fine they can give us is $2 million. So we make a $20 million profit on breaking this law. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
this is part of the problem. Different rules for thee and not for me. If you somehow fucking extract $20 million you ain't supposed to, you can guarantee your ass is going in a prison jumpsuit. There ain't gonna be no fine involved. You're going to prison. These people, just how they make money. Make $20 million breaking this law and circumventing it.
That's how it go. Grocery store clerk fired after stopping purse thief.
Of course.
Burlington, Vermont. This is what happens when Bernie Sanders tearing her. Grocery store clerk who chased down a purse thief was fired after his heroic deed, he said. Amir Shedyak, 20, who had worked for 4 years at the Hannaford's grocery store, just started a shift one day in August when a customer flagged him down, and he was like, an old lady's purse got stolen. Shedyak told WCAX, I looked to my right and I see a gentleman running across the parking lot, and he had the purse in his hand. Doesn't really sound like a gentleman to me, but okay. Shedyak, who also worked as a volunteer firefighter, caught up to the man, identified as Adrian Moore. Shedyak grabbed him from behind and held him down. Shedyak managed to get back the woman's purse. However, as he called police, Moore was able to run off. Police later arrested and charged Moore with larceny. Shedyak said, rather than be commended for his actions, he was fired. We do not comment on personnel matters, the grocery store said. Shedyak said he was able to find another job. Yeah, so
this is a tough one for me because grocery store workers are not law enforcement officials.
They're certainly not.
And had he tackled this dude from behind and cracked his skull open or something, that old lady's purse is replaceable, and that person, like, you know what I mean? So I don't really think I don't think it should ever be standard policy that some fucking dork in a grocery shirt should trip or chase or engage a fucking criminal in any way. It's not their job to stop that crime. It's not their job to enforce that shit. So a lot of places have security guards, and that's legal in this country. You can hire private security to ensure shit like this doesn't happen. Those people are licensed to do that shit. Maybe not properly, but at the very least, there's some veneer of officialness about it. When a dude in a Walmart apron is chasing some dude across the parking lot and tackling him, as heroic as the deed might have been in his head, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much true, but I don't think you're gonna see any of this kind of stuff stop anytime soon. I think people, you kind of make it. It's like you make a split-second decision, and I think you just say, okay, this old woman's being robbed, and I'm gonna help out. But you're right. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, what if that guy also, if he's robbing this woman, what if he's got a gun or a weapon? You end up being killed. Or I mean, there's so many things that it's like, if it's just a purse, it's probably you're right. It's probably best to just not even fuck with it.
That's why all of these commercial chains, grocery stores, fast food places, banks have a 100% compliance policy. You are told when you're hired to one of these places, if the event of a robbery, do whatever the robber says. Do not attempt to fucking stop the robber. Give them the money. Give them your wallet. Do whatever they say, because that's the safest route. That's exactly why this dude was fired, because they don't want to put it in the minds of people that it's cool to go chasing down these people, because the next one might have a shiv. He gets tackled from behind and stabs this guy in the liver. Then what?
Yeah. I mean, and like the fact of the matter is that this grocery store, this is a liability to them for many angles. Like, you know, they could be, if this fucking clerk gets a little too rough with this thief and shit, the thief could actually sue the fucking store. If the fucking grocery store worker gets fucking stabbed or shot or killed doing this, the store could be sued. Like everybody, like there's so many angles where the store would be on the line at a lawsuit if this fucking shit goes sideways. So
ultimately, that old lady's purse was fucking replaceable. Human life is not, and that's why they don't allow people that work in these places that aren't trained law enforcement officials or licensed private security to engage criminals.
Yeah, guess what? You ain't Batman. You just ain't.
You're not.
You ain't a cop. You ain't Batman. You're nothing.
Colleges. I don't think the dude should have lost his job. I want to be on the fucking record saying that, like,
yeah,
I would rather he got to keep his job. I don't think what he did came from a bad place or whatever. I'm just trying to tell you, like, that I understand why he lost his job.
Yeah, I think that you probably could have sat him down and been like, look, what you did was valiant, and, you know, I understand, you know, but, like, here's all the stuff that could have happened that you're not thinking about.
Right.
You know, and you probably could have fucking had something like that. But whatever. Maybe the dude's in the wrong fucking job, you know? Maybe he's not. Yeah. Maybe that dude's just not meant for grocery store kind of shit, you know?
He's already a volunteer firefighter, so maybe he needs to pursue that.
Yeah, maybe he should become a full-time firefighter so I can make videos against him.
Dude, exactly. did you see that salty firefighter that responded to you?
I did.
Dude,
you know what?
The veins on his neck looked like they were going to fucking burst.
Dude, so many. Apparently, every firefighter in the country watches that dude, because I've gotten so many messages from firefighters since then.
Dude, if your house catches on fire, nobody's coming.
Yeah,
who's the resident? TJ Kirk. Let's take our time, fellas. Let's take our time on this one. This is one alarm.
One firefighter wrote me and was like, yeah, if there's ever a fire, I'll save you, but I won't like it. It's like, all right, great, rock on.
I won't like saving your fucking sorry ass.
I don't give a fuck what you like, you bitch. Colleges scrapping spring break amid travel concerns during coronavirus pandemic.
Let's be real. Spring break is still gonna fucking happen.
One school said spring break would increase the risk of spreading COVID-19. An increasing number of colleges and universities are canceling spring breaks 6 months ahead of time amid concerns about traveling during the coronavirus pandemic. The University of Michigan became one of the latest schools to amend its calendar and scrap the traditional spring break. On Thursday, its Board of Regents approved updated academic calendars across its 3 campuses that eliminated the spring recess.
This is like treating a broken arm by feeding somebody pills.
Mm-hmm.
Like there should be a national mandate banning vacation travel, a national mandate banning mass fucking congregations of people at beaches and public spaces. Like, this shouldn't even be a question that the schools have to try and juggle. Spring break should be spent at home or in your own fucking town chilling, and let these people get a break from their fucking school, but just make it federally illegal for them to leave their fucking state and travel to Florida and lay around on the goddamn beach.
Going to Florida.
This is crazy. I'm getting a message from the future. It's saying spring break is still going to happen, and a bunch of college kids are going to be sharing memes about how coronavirus is bullshit, and how they're still going to go, and how there's going to be like a skip week for these universities. Oh man, I'm seeing the future, guys. Give me a fucking break, dude. They can cancel this shit all they want. People are still going to go. They're still going to fucking do it because they want to do it. If people want to do something, unless there's actually a means of stopping them, they're going to do it. We already saw it. Florida has so many cases. Why? Because a bunch of people still want to go fucking party in Florida. Just like they want to have that motorcycle rally. Because all the government's going to do is, please don't gather, guys, and maybe wear a mask. Fuck you, government. Nothing we can do, guys. So
Can't tell me what to do, you son of a bitch.
Let's come to people protesting, then they need to be told what to do immediately. But besides that, for me, I shouldn't be told.
Unless the people protesting are white. Then get out of their way.
Oh, no. Me and Taylor, I was laughing up. I was like, okay, let's look at some images of the Michigan protests. You literally have these cops just standing there like this, and you have angry white guy go, I've been telling you nothing. Like, a bunch of videos like that. They have AR-15s. They got every fucking gun. They have AR-10s. Doesn't matter. They're fucking, the government gonna do this. They're in the fucking state house, the Capitol, and this is the police. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, okay. Because you want to know why? Because the police know that's the people that support them. So they're just going to sit back and go, and we saw with the Tea Party. How many has the Tea Party marched on Washington, D.C.? No problem. So there was never a fucking problem. But the left shows up. Suddenly it's like, tear gas, beat them down. Get out of the street, you fucking piece of shit.
Got it.
And we've seen the narrative time and time again. You know, another thing too, Paul, another narrative we've fucking seen with this fucking shit is that you have a bunch of cameras there and observing what's going on. Bunch of people, a bunch of liberal pussies cheering, yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that. The police then gather up looking at them like, what should we do? And it's like, tear gas. These protesters are violent. Look at them, they're violent. It's ridiculous. And just like this is ridiculous. Okay, the college is scrapping spring break. Are they scrapping human nature while they're at it? Because unless they're doing that too, this is worthless.
I think that says it. We're suddenly drowning in people. Argentinians flock to Uruguay amid pandemic.
Oh.
Paul actually pulled this story.
See, you can chuckle it up all you want, but this is actually a good thing. Do you know why they're flocking? It's the pandemic. Because
Paul, you're dropping a little bit. Sorry, I just wanted to let you know before it got too bad.
Ugh.
I know. About 15,000 to 20,000 Argentinians are estimated to have moved to Uruguay since the pandemic began. Augusta Val's phone is ringing off the hook. It started as a trickle when the pandemic first hit Argentina, but now we're getting over 20 calls a day, she said, from her office in Uruguay's luxury beach resort of Punta del Este. Val's runs a thriving business guiding well-off Argentinians through the red tape of acquiring Uruguayan residents, a skill she learned arranging her own residency application after marrying a Uruguayan lawyer last October. The pandemic hit us like a sledgehammer. We are suddenly drowning in people wanting to come here, said the husband, Diego Torres. About 15,000 to 20,000 Argentinians are estimated to have moved to Uruguay since the pandemic began in March, a number equivalent to about 0.6% of Uruguay's population of 3.5 million. And Uruguay is encouraging the flow. South America's smallest nation not only lowered the minimum value of property foreigners must acquire to obtain tax residency from 1.7 million to just 380,000 earlier this year, but also passed a new law offering arrivals a 10-year tax holiday.
Oh shit! I guess if Paul moves there, he does get the last laugh. He'll be like, 10 years tax-free, bitches.
Mariana, who asked to use a pseudonym, is typical of the Argentinians moving to Puente del Este. We already owned a summer apartment here, and I came in search of new professional horizons last November, said the 52-year-old marketing consultant, now working in Uruguay's buoyant film services industry. But when the pandemic struck in March, my husband and my two sons joined me permanently. My sons are taking their university courses online from here just as they would in Argentina. Once known as the Switzerland of South America because of its high... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The reason why these people are flocking to Uruguay is because Uruguay was one of the best nations. It was the best nation in South America when it came to controlling the spread of the coronavirus. They didn't even have a mandatory lockdown.
Right.
They just immediately instituted social distancing and PPE and made it a nationwide mandate. And their COVID cases were something like 6,000 countrywide, and they had something like 68 deaths from it in total. So they basically just skipped right over COVID in Uruguay.
It says
so
they've seen
people
fewer than 2,000 cases and coronavirus deaths in the double digits. So they've barely had any coronavirus there at all.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
I
like,
mean, hey, you know what?
good
Uruguay
thing.
has done a good job. Then you got to give them fucking props.
With its
The-
wide
the-
beaches, luxurious mansions, and expensive nightlife, Punta del Este has for decades been the summer home of South American millionaires and a smattering of wealthy Europeans. About 100 Europeans arrived on private jets as soon as the pandemic started in Europe and only started flying back around June, July when the virus panic abated. So a lot of people rode out the virus in Uruguay, and I guess a lot of people have just decided let's just stay here. This is better.
Yeah, don't blame them. The worrying thing about Uruguay to me when it comes to looking at a place to possibly move to is the fact that about a year ago, I think it's like 20 some odd years of left-wing exclusive rule ended in Uruguay when they elected a kind of more conservative guy. And he immediately started cozying up to
Bolsonaro.
And not only Bolsonaro, but the Venezuelan pretender. I know.
Oh, like
Nicolas
the
Maduro.
opposition party in Venezuela.
The opposition party in Venezuela, and they left unilaterally on his first day in office. His first order of office was to have Uruguay leave. I can't remember the name of the conference, but it's a conference of the left-leaning political states in Uruguay. He had them leave it.
Yeah.
And so he's a right-wing dude, but as a right-winger, he never made a mention of rolling back gay rights, rolling back marijuana legalization. Like he's more of like an old school 80s conservative or some shit. He's all about fiscal conservatism.
Yeah, but we know where it leads though.
Yeah, I still don't like the trajectory. You know what I mean?
Uruguay, don't do it. Don't do it.
Uruguay
don't do it, Uruguay. I know
Uruguay has a single 5-year term for presidency. So they shuffle presidents a lot.
So there's no re-election effort or anything. It's just like this
No.
is your president for 5 years and then you're done.
Almost seems like a better idea, really, doesn't it?
One term. You get your 5 years.
Who knows what this right-wing president will do to change those rules while he's in power? I mean, he's got 3.5 some odd more years, I think.
Well, a bunch of rich people like Uruguay as well, Paul. So that bodes well for you.
Rich people.
Look, dude, when I looked at this place, I was blown away. I was literally blown away that this place existed because I'm not really looking for this resort shit. Like, I can't afford that. I'm not looking to live in a place like Punta del whatever the fuck.
Punta del Richo.
But like the normal cities like Montevideo, the capital of I'm sorry I'm going to say it like this, but I was corrected by an Uruguayan. It's not Uruguay, it's Uruguay.
Uruguay.
So, the capital of Uruguay is, it's very cosmopolitan, very cheap to live in. Property is cheap. It's very accepting of foreigners. The bar for entry is very low. In fact, the benefits to entry far outstrip the bar. They have a national health service. They've got legal
Paul,
marijuana.
they passed their a 10-year tax holiday for you too. So, but
That's what
here's the
I'm
thing,
saying,
Paul.
dude. They're trying to get people
as an
to move
American citizen, though, you will still have to, over a certain amount, you will still have to file a U.S. tax return. So don't think that unless you renounce your citizenship, but that is a long and intensive process.
Yep. I mean, my goal would be to move there, to live there for 6 months to a year and to see if it fits my lifestyle and see if it's what I want from a place. And then to start the process of renouncing my United States citizenship and becoming an Uruguayan. But
that's gay.
That's the same plan I have for any place that I might theoretically move to that's out of the United States.
Well, sure.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
It's always helpful.
That's a small loan.
Wisconsin man shocked to discover a brain washed up on the beach.
A brain?
A brain!
If I
There it
only
is.
had a brain.
Holy shit, it's a brain.
Yep.
It is a brain. That
A
is
Wisconsin
crazy.
man strolling along the beach was stunned after discovering an animal brain wrapped in aluminum foil that had washed up on the shore. James Senda was hunting for sea glass Tuesday at Samuel Myers Park in Racine when he came across a brick-shaped package wrapped in aluminum foil with a pink rubber band, suspecting the package contained money or drugs. And overcome with curiosity. Yeah, you wish it was money or drugs.
Yeah, whatever, dude. He was hoping.
Senda unwrapped the package only to discover a brain along with pink flowers and foreign money. Ooh, so there was some money. When I first opened it, I think I was so shocked it didn't click what it was, Senda told CNN. I walked up to city workers nearby and I was like, did I just find a brain? Yes, you did. Police said on Thursday the brain did not belong to a human, but medical examiners are unsure what animal it came from. Some members of the community suspect the brain may have been part of a send-off ritual for the dead, which includes items such as money and flowers they can use in the afterlife, but no one can explain the brain, Senda said. The brain was larger than the size of his extended hand and was not decomposed, he said. I'm glad I'm the one who found it, Senda added. Imagine a grandma or mom or a kid that was playing nearby was the one who saw and unwrapped it. I'm 47 and I'm freaked out about it. I found a brain on the beach.
Alien brain on the beach.
Imagine if a grandma had found it. Yeah, that would have been way funnier. So,
Yeah, I would.
yeah! Grandma finds brain on the beach, dies of heart attack.
Yeah, that would have made for a better story. I'm not gonna lie. It would have cost a grandma her life, but she's a grandma. You know.
Yeah,
TJ, you can try the Washington Post for only $1.
I don't want to try the Washington Post.
Try the WAPO.
What the fuck? What's the headline here? Is this worth finding? The Pentagon funneled coronavirus relief funds to defense contractors. Okay. Well, I guess that happened, but I ain't paying the Washington Post $1 to read about it, so whatever. Ranked choice voting in Maine a go for presidential election. So
Cool.
Portland, Maine, ranked choice voting will be used for the first time in a presidential race in the U.S. under a ruling Tuesday by the Maine Supreme Court, which concluded that a GOP-led petition drive intended to prevent its use came up short. The Supreme Judicial Court concluded that Maine Republican Party failed to reach the threshold of signatures needed for a people's veto referendum aimed at rejecting a state law that expands ranked choice voting to the presidential election. This is a powerful moment for ranked choice voting supporters. Voters will, for the first time, use ranked choice voting to elect the highest of office in the country, said Rob Ritchie, president and CEO
How are they going to
of Fair
reconcile?
Vote.
How are they
Yes.
going to reconcile this at the end? Like, how is this going to count if it's only Maine doing it?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how the system's going to work. The court's decision just 6 weeks before the election was issued after the state already began printing out ballots using a grid style for ranked elections. As we've already printed the ballots due to the federal deadlines we must meet to provide ballots for overseas and military voters, this decision comes as a great relief and avoids the complications, confusion, and expense that would have arisen from reprinting and reissuing ballots, the Secretary of State Matthew Dunlap, the Secretary of State. Under this voting system, voters are allowed to rank all candidates on the ballot. If no one wins a majority of first place votes, there are additional tabulations aided by computers in which last place finishers are eliminated and voters reallocated based on supporters' second place choice. So basically, they're probably just going to it probably only applies to the state, since most of these states are winner take all.
Right.
So I don't think this ranked choice voting is going to make much of a difference in this particular election because people are probably still going to vote for,
But yeah, but
for
I mean,
Biden
it's
or
exciting
Trump,
that it's exciting that an entire fucking state has adopted ranked choice voting.
Absolutely. I hope that this is the beginning of something that spreads for sure.
Well, then of course, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to vote for this third party, but ultimately, if I have to choose, then I'm going to go with Joe Trump or Joe Biden.
So people who are, if you're a pussy like me and you want to I want to kind of give support to the third parties, but I'm also scared of, the Republicans seizing more power. You can be like, okay, well, I'll vote Howie Hawkins first choice, even though I fucking hate him and he sucks. But I'll say Biden is my backup choice or something like that. So this gives people the ranked choice. The idea behind ranked choice is to give people more freedom to vote third party without being terrified that they're giving votes to the opposition party that they fucking obviously don't want in power.
Yes,
and this could be for Republicans too. I mean, the GOP is obviously trying to stop it in the state, but you could just as easily be like, I'm a libertarian and I want to vote for Joe Jorgensen, but, I'll have Trump as my backup or whatever the fuck. Or maybe you want to go like full third party and be like Joe Jorgensen's my first choice, Howie Hawkins my second choice, whatever is my, so like this gives voters a lot more freedom to, actually make the choice they want to make, put their actual preferred candidate is their first choice, which, could help third parties in America.
TJ. So Maine actually does divide its electoral vote. So the voting system adds another wrinkle to the presidential contest in Maine, which, as one of the 2 states that divide electoral votes,
I didn't know that.
Already does things differently.
Yeah.
So apparently, in the last presidential election, Hillary got 3 votes and Trump got 1 vote. And the congressional district underscoring political divisions between the state's liberal and urban South and conservative North.
Cool. So voting is a complicated matter in Maine, but this hopefully will give people more choices, and I'd like to see it spread to other states because this could be potentially something that could at least diminish the power of the duopoly that we exist under now.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Canadian police make arrests as tempers flare in lobster feud. What? What's going on?
A lobster feud, bro.
Okay.
You don't know what a lobster feud is?
No, I never
been
heard
involved in a lobster feud.
Gotta say, I haven't yet. Officers detained 2 people for assault as crowds gathered to mark the launch. Launch of what? Oh, I guess I should have read the first line in bold. Police in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia have made 2 arrests as tensions rise over a lobster fishery set up by the indigenous community. Officers detained 2 people for assault as crowds gathered to mark the launch. Members of the Indian
Good luck with that one.
Members of the Indian thing say they have a right to issue fishing licenses to their own people. Non-indigenous lobster fishers, however, say their boats are opening out of season and should be stopped. The row comes on the anniversary of a ruling that affirmed the rights of indigenous groups to hunt and fish. That 1999 ruling stipulated that any hunting and fishing should be for moderate livelihood, but moderate remains largely undefined. Lobster in Nova Scotia's most valuable seafood export, and an associated fishing industry is worth an estimated 500 million Canadian funny monies annually.
I just want to point out too.
Yes.
Look at another headline here. Canada complicit in race-based genocide. So these Canadians wagging their fingers at Americans, a truly great nation, should remember to look at their own backyard first. Look at the own abuses of power, the wrongs they've done.
Oh, yeah.
Consider for one moment how much better your lives would be under American rule. The tanks roll in, your flag comes down, our flag goes up, and we're united. We have, next can be Mexico. We'll consider that. We don't know how we feel about Mexico yet. We're thinking about that. But the United States of Canada and America, you guys are going to have it great. Look, Amazon's going to spread. All our companies are going to take over your company. It's going to be wonderful. Sign up for the new program.
Canadians can only imagine the joy of waking up in a country on a brisk morning, hearing the flapping of a flag in the breeze and looking up and seeing the old stars and stripes, man. It would be literally like experiencing dawn for the first time if these Canadians would just accept.
So true.
I'm tired of people putting down our president. Look at this fucking shit right here.
Click on that, dude. I want to see that bullshit.
All right, I'm clicking it. I can't help it.
Stop putting down
I'm tired of is that a commando flag? What is this? Yeah, maybe later.
Damn.
Maybe later.
Is that Rambo? Or is that
it's Trumpo, dude.
Oh,
It's
they
Trumbo.
fucking yeah. Trumpo, dude. Some Trump supporters in Democratic-leading districts of Virginia, Wisconsin, and other states say they fell maligned because of their conservative views. They are now banding together in convoys for solidarity. Here's what a ride on the Trump train looks like and what it means for the nation. Well, it looks absolutely fucking retarded is what it looks like.
It means we're tacky as fuck. I can tell you that much.
It doesn't get much tackier than this, does it? This
We're tacky and jingoistic as fuck. That's basically what I'm reading so far.
I love this dude flipping him off. That's so beautiful. Oh, yeah, this is the bitch that flipped off Trump's motorcade. That's great.
Yeah.
Scott Pio coast through a neighborhood in Northern Virginia, blah, 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 blah. 36-year-old software engineer. On weekends, the president frequently comes here to play golf at his club. Trump national and progressive activists gather in front of its entrance to protest his policies. Here in Democrat-leaning parts of Virginia, a Trump supporter like Pio, pronounced Pio, and he could have told me that the first time you had his name. Honestly, this needs to be more of a thing.
Pio.
Like, tell me how to fucking pronounce weird fucking names, okay? Gets a chilly reception. One of the Democratic activists who congregates at the entrance of the president's club, Julie Briskman, became famous several years ago after making an obscene gesture at the president's motorcade. She is now an elected county official, a position that she owes in part to her newfound celebrity. That's awesome.
Dude, that bird empowered her.
That was a career-making move.
Yeah. Dude, it is so rare for somebody to get a career out of flipping somebody off.
I'm tired of people putting down our president, says Pio, explaining why he decided to organize the convoy. And I'm tired of the disrespect. Well, if you think that parading around in this fucking dog shit is going to get you respect, no.
Yeah, that ain't how respect works, dude.
I respect you infinitely less. Pio likes the president's efforts at deregulation, blah, blah, blah. Of course he does. He's a builder, not a politician, he says. Dude, I hate these people. This is have you ever fucking heard the saying that the Christians fucking tout? It's like the biggest lie the devil ever told was convincing the world he didn't exist. The biggest lie Trump ever told was convincing his supporters that he's not a politician. Because I've heard that from all these fuckers. He's not a politician. You know, he's not a politician. It's like, yes, he the fuck is. By definition, he's a politician, and in no way is he not a politician. In no way is he even an exception to the fucking rule of like, this isn't your typical politician. Yes, it is. It's just a fucking new coat of paint.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, that's what they're getting hung up on, in my opinion, is like, he's not a politician when it comes to how he conducts himself. Like,
yeah, it's just like,
politicians,
because we're used to the super polished, like, yes.
Right, the polished, straight-laced, very professional, very cool and level-headed type of politician, and Trump pops off and rants on Twitter like they do and fucking yells at people like they do, and they think it's just the newest fucking iteration of the I would have a beer with him principle that means nothing. You know what I mean? Like, which one of these people do I think would be able, like, on my level enough to sit down and have a beer with? And it's like, you can have a beer with either of these fucking idiots and it wouldn't tell you a goddamn fucking thing about how they'd run the country. And it's the same shit. It's like, yeah, Trump is disruptive in the fact that he conducts himself differently from a politician, but behind the scenes, the legislation that he's signed, the promises that he's broken, the maneuvers that he's made are right out of the politician's handbook. So it's like a rose by any other name, you know?
Yeah, fuck this. Anywho, I don't know what the fuck here. NASA pledges to land first woman on the moon by 2024. Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, you can keep her there.
Yeah, I think they're sending about 90 billion too few. You know what I mean? Like, how about all women go?
Send them all to the damn moon.
And we'll rename the moon the Pussy Planet. And when we need to get some pussy, that's where we'll go. But otherwise, we'll live our lives in contentment and freedom.
NASA hopes to have a woman go where no woman has gone before, the moon. NASA officials gave an update on its Artemis program this week, starting with Neil Armstrong's landing on July 20th, 1969. Every astronaut who has set foot on the moon, all 12 of them have been men, CNN reported. The final man to walk on the moon happened in 1972. The U.S. hasn't been back since, history reported. In December 2017, President Trump signed his Space Policy Directive 1, urging NASA to go back to the moon for long-term exploration and use, and using it as a jump-off point for other planetary missions, CNN reported. The agency is looking for $28 billion through 2025 for Phase 1 of the Artemis mission, CNN reported. The Artemis 1 mission is scheduled to launch next year as a test flight around the moon, but will not be a manned mission. NASA also plans to use robots to deliver dozens of new science investigations and technology demonstrations to the moon twice a year. Artemis 2 will be a manned mission Set to start in 2023 before Artemis 3 takes astronauts to the moon's surface, NASA said.
Going back to the moon, baby. Go back to the moon.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually kind of do like this aspect of the Trump administration. Is he does have some? He does
You're
every now and then.
cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry, I'll leave for a second.
I think I have a way to fix it.
Okay,
I fixed
you got to
it.
fix.
I can walk you through it real quick.
Sure. Should I just change my mic source back and forth?
Yeah. So go to your user settings, voice and video.
Oh, on Discord. Okay.
Yeah, on Discord.
Okay.
And you might have to play with it a little bit, but if you scroll down a little, you'll see input sensitivity, automatically determine input sensitivity. You probably have that checked.
I
think that's what's causing us to drop out. So
okay.
I set mine to around minus 57 dB, maybe a little lower than that, minus 59 dB.
Okay.
And it seems to pick up everything I say. You can kind of check it. You can watch it bounce as you talk.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
And then make some like incidental noise, like breathe into the mic, and it should only appear in the yellow. If that goes in, no, just air, not actual vocalization. Like you should like. Mine didn't pick up at all. So yeah, if you play with that bar, I think we all need to. I think we'll stop cutting out because I think that Discord's like automatic input sensitivity detection is not great.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll do it. We'll see.
It's fixed it for you already. Yeah, like you were dropping out when I started this, and now you're not. So
yeah. Well, hopefully that's a little better now. Anyway, I do like the whole space aspect of the Trump administration. I like the Space Force, even though it's kind of stupid, and I hate the militarization of space. But I do like that we're actually looking to space. So I don't know.
The militarization of space is inevitable, and if we do it before China does it, it gives us a distinct fucking advantage. So I understand it. Like I don't like it either, but I can, not like it in one hand and shit in the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as an American, I guess I would rather it be an American that gets there first and puts the first missile base on the moon, because having a Chinese missile base on the moon seems like it would be a little more scary.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
But I do echo your sentiments about like the space kind of angle of Trump's presidency. Like that has been one thing that I haven't been able to fault him on, like actually setting these like audacious American goals for going to Mars, going back to the moon. This is something that we've been sitting on our hands for since the fucking 60s. You know what I mean? So
it's pretty lame that like we landed on the moon in 69 and haven't been back since 72. It's just like clearly like we dropped the ball on this.
100%.
Like there's no excuse for how fucking.
I will say, if there's anything positive you can also say about the Trump administration, is that I don't think any other administration in recent memory has taken NASA seriously. And I mean, obviously, I think it's probably for exploitative reasons ultimately. I think we can all recognize that. But you're right. It's like it's something that needs. It sucks to have to take this kind of nationalist bent, but as an American, I would rather there be an American nuclear silo on the fucking moon than a Chinese or Russian one. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to have to do that, but
not only that, but like I just feel like,
dude, it's like some Moonraker shit. We're gonna direct a beam of energy to fucking Beijing. Like Beijing fucks with America. They're like, oh, we have all the economic power. Like, really?
I feel like as long as humanity is confined to the Earth, all of our eggs are literally in one basket. So.
And I mean, going to the moon is not necessarily a step away from that inevitable destruction that we all face, because eventually Earth won't be here. Assuming that we don't wipe ourselves out, we can have all the fucking goals as a species that we want. One way or the other, the Earth is not going to support us at some point.
Right.
And if we're not even trying to figure out the logistics of not only getting to, but setting up semi-permanent and permanent residencies on foreign fucking planets, we're fucked. Now we're fucked anyway. Like on a long enough time scale, but we're never going to discover this engine technology or this travel technology that sci-fi touts as a way for us to traverse large parts of space, but not, spend 10,000 years doing it. We're never going to get there if we don't try.
Right.
And so this represents at least an attempt in my mind of us as a people. And when I say us, the United States, us as a people saying like, we're committed to the idea of trying to figure out how to get off this planet and onto another one.
Yeah, and I inherently support the idea. WWE Hall of Fame wrestler, the Road Warrior Animal, dies at 60.
Animal was like the big blonde one with the mohawk, right?
I think so.
Okay.
World Wrestling Entertainment confirmed his death and extended condolences to his family and fans. Laurinaitis spent the majority of his professional wrestling career working alongside his tag team partner Hawk. Together, they formed the Road Warriors. The tag team was enshrined in WWE's Hall of Fame in 2011. Laurinaitis was one of 50 former pro wrestlers who sued WWE, claiming it failed to protect them from repeated head injuries, including concussions that led to long-term brain damage. Earlier this month, the second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New York agreed with a federal judge in Connecticut who tossed the lawsuits 2 years ago, saying many of the claims were frivolous or filed after the statute of limitations had expired. Stamford, Connecticut-based WWE denied the suit's allegations.
Of course.
Look at the other people that joined the suit. So Superfly Snuka, who we talked about recently.
Yeah, and his
Mr. Wonderful, King Kong Bundy, and Mr. Fuji, apparently all were parts of this. All old wrestlers who I remember.
Snuka and Fuji died in 2017 and 2016, respectively, and were diagnosed with chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Okay. Or CTE. After their deaths, according to their lawyer, Pallies died last year of undisclosed causes. Other plaintiffs have dementia and other illnesses, the lawsuit said. Yeah, this sounds like a totally frivolous lawsuit. It sounds like the WWE really actually did protect those guys, because this is totally normal for all these dudes to be dead in their 50s.
Oh, you know what they said? There's no evidence that the WWE knew that concussions or head blows during wrestling matches cause CTE.
Oh.
They didn't know, TJ. They're innocent, man.
So it's okay.
It wasn't that it doesn't cause it, because it does. It's just that they didn't. Who would have thunk it, dude? No one knew.
No one knew that getting hit in the head repeatedly was bad for you. Come on. Haters be damned. Ellen sees highest premiere ratings since 2016. Ellen just might be feeling the kindness of strangers following a summer tanked by nonstop accusations of a toxic workplace culture that defies her be kind mantra. The Ellen DeGeneres Show returned for its 18th season Monday with its biggest season premiere since 2016. The show posted an overnight Nielsen household rating of 1.9, steady with the overall ratings for the fall 2019 premiere, but it's ranked number one in a lucrative ad demo, adults aged 25 to 54, with a 0.9 rating, an increase from last year's 0.8. But even more impressive, Ellen also topped all talk shows in what's arguably the most coveted ad demo, female viewers age 18 to 34 owning a 0.6 and nailing ages 18 to 49 with a 0.8. The program tied with The View at 1.1 for women viewers aged 25 to 54. Was it loyal viewer dedication or just morbid curiosity about behind-the-scenes drama after debunked rumors of cancellation and the RIP Ellen Twitter trend? Only time will tell if the ratings uptick will stick.
So I had somebody hit me up on Twitter and say, like, they sent me a DM with the entirety of Ellen's speech, and then they said, Paul, dude, you fucking totally called this, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't tell me where. I went back and looked, and I think I found it on a Flash Fried. We were talking about Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you did the little apology. You did a routine where you did the whole apology speech. You predicted what she was going to say and stuff.
It would be pretty cool to have somebody edit those together, because I was pretty goddamn fucking close to what she actually said. She was more long-winded about it, obviously, because I was doing a bit and she was trying to seem like she wasn't. She was too, by the way.
Right.
She was just doing a longer bit. But basically all the beats that I hit in that little joke that I made, she hits in the speech. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
From like taking personal responsibility without taking personal responsibility to saying she's a work in progress, which I think I said verbatim, to saying that, she's a human and that she's committed to moving forward and making a wonderful environment, and how excited she is to be back so that she can handle these things that have needed to be handled for all these years, and
of course,
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So,
Well, good for her.
Her night.
It's just, I'm telling you, dude, this timeline has become too fucking predictable for me, especially when it comes to this kind of bullshit, hackneyed celebrity apology. I'm not claiming to be psychic or anything. I've just heard them. I've just heard them. I've heard them a million fucking times in my life. I know how they're structured. I know what you have to tell people to supplicate yourself just enough to where they think that you're on their side and then just go back. You know what else she did, dude?
What?
This is pretty blatant. I didn't call this. So she has, and this is something that I think is like, and maybe you guys can correct me. You know how late night shows and talk shows all have a smiling, laughing black guy?
Yeah.
That backs them up?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like almost like a Mr. Bojangles thing to me that I'm wondering like why nobody calls it. Like every one of these late night shows has a black dude that's like, you know, plays the piano.
Yeah.
He just stops short of throwing some salt on the ground and doing some soft shoe for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so Ellen's got her version of that guy, right? Sitting there while she's giving this speech. And then after she's done, he starts talking, basically echoing everything she said. And then her big finish was, by the way, I would like everybody to congratulate whatever his name is. They all have like some kind of nickname. Hers is like, it's definitely slave-like. Mr. Bojangles over here is no longer, you know, I want to let everybody in the audience know he's no longer just the musical director on the show. He's my co-producer. My co-executive producer, Mr. Bojangles. Is that enough of a fucking virtue signal to get y'all to fucking believe that I'm not a complete fucking asshole?
You guys remember the movie Casino, where they get the guy who's basically the land developer dupe? That's his name's on the fucking he signed the dotted line. That's all this deal is. It's like, look, we have a person of color who's now a producer on the show. So who is the boss of the show? Is it Ellen? I mean, a matter of speaking, you could say it's Ellen. You know, who makes all decisions? Well, Ellen does.
That is some dude. That whole fucking black dude on the late night shows thing is something that's bothered me for a while, and I've wondered why. Like, maybe I just am not looking in the right places. But I especially at this point in time, I would expect that people would be calling that shit out, because those dudes, like, they basically exist just to like chuckle at the jokes of the white host and play music, which is all they're really good at, you know. And sometimes like the host will throw them like a question, but they're either instructed to answer monosyllabically or they just do. I don't know which one it is. I'm thinking it's probably the former. They just go like you know, fucking Stephen Colbert will be like, Mr. Bojangles, what do you think about all this? And he'll be like, I don't know, man. I don't diddly diddly dee. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
You're so fucking right, dude.
is this a fucking minstrel show or what the fuck? Like, why am I offended by this and black people don't seem to be?
Oh, you're right, though. You're totally right. I can see it in my head.
Remember, this is a famous thing, was that remember like Cartoon Network or Boomerang, wherever thought like, oh my God, Speedy Gonzales is offensive to Latin people or to Mexican people or whatever. Like, we can't have that.
Yeah, that's right. They took him off the air, but then
And then
fucking
they, like,
Hispanics were pissed.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't always work out that way. It's like sometimes people identify with those people and like, yeah, I'm glad they're on the show. So that could be a case of that too. Like, I know, was not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. He's got was it the Roots or something? He's got a band like that. Does Jimmy Kimmel have like a black band?
Who knows? I don't watch that garbage, so I don't really.
I don't
know.
watch it either.
I've seen it on a
what I
bunch of
know.
shows though. I remember Kevin Eubanks. Is that his name from like the fucking Jay Leno show back in the day? I remember that dude, and he was exactly what Paul's talking about, where it was just
Yeah,
like,
he was.
Hey, Kevin, what do you think? Jay, you crazy. Doop boop doop 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 doo. You know?
Like, they'll be like, man, I don't know, man. Stuff is crazy. Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, man. Diddly diddly dee. You know, you're just like, oh my fucking God, bro. What is this? I'm looking it up right now. I'm late night show sidekicks.
Yeah.
I just want to see like what the current sidekicks are. Let's see if I can find like Jimmy Fallon's sidekick, Steve Higgins. Let's see if Steve Higgins
is Steve Higgins
man.
a black dude?
It doesn't look like he is. So Jimmy Fallon has a woke show, I guess, that doesn't have a Mr. Bojangles. There's just not a list. I want to see. So I'm gonna have to look it up. Like, what are some of these late night shows? So there's the Tonight Show. We know that one has a black sidekick. We know that the Ellen Show does. What are some other ones? I'll just look it up.
I think that Conan O'Brien still has his like little Andy Richter dude.
Yeah, Conan
on there.
O'Brien has always had Andy Richter. So we'll
except for that
too.
brief time period where Andy Richter tried to go off and have his own career, but that didn't work. So
yeah, it didn't work out for him. So he's back just basically being the Mr. Bojangles to Conan. What other
who the
late
fuck
night
else is there? I don't know.
So there's Jimmy Fallon, and there's two Jimmys, right? There's Jimmy Fallon,
Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, which are
Well, Jimmy Fallon has the roots.
Okay, let me look at Jimmy Fallon.
So he has a they're a black like backing band. I know they.
So
I know
it's the
they
same
do,
thing.
Yeah, so they do some like segments with him and stuff in the show I've seen.
Oh man, it sucks. It would suck to have to fucking pretend Jimmy Fallon is funny for a living.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Hey,
and what about Kimmel?
I don't know.
Kimmel band. Let me see.
Does he even have one?
Cleto and the Cletones.
Yeah, okay.
Cleto Escobedo the third. So
All right.
he sounds Hispanic, but he might actually be a black dude.
We'll
Let me
see. Look him up.
Yeah, he doesn't have a real. I'll just do his name because he doesn't really have a Wikipedia entry here.
Of course
Yeah,
not.
that name doesn't necessarily mean that he's not black. So let's see here.
Cleto and the Cletones.
Cleto. No, he looks Hispanic. I mean, he presents Hispanic. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
He's definitely not white.
Yeah.
But they tried some variations of it.
Sure.
Helicopters, armed police swoop in to arrest Russian Jesus cult leader.
So, have you guys seen the Vice documentary where they send a reporter to go to this place?
Yes.
So
yeah, I've seen it, dude. It's crazy.
Really good. It's crazy and really good. This place reminded and I saw this before I saw Midsummer, but this place really reminded me of Midsummer. And maybe was even like partially an inspiration for that film, because it's a very, very segregated cult of people that live basically in the Siberian wilderness and worship this guy Vissarion, who they think is literally Jesus Christ. They structure their entire lives. They live communally. So yeah, they did an interview with him. They interviewed a bunch of his followers. People come from all over the world seeking spiritual guidance.
Yeah, and apparently he's been he's been running this shit since 1991. So this is not new.
And his story is strange too. He's just like a normal dude. He worked some normal factory job, and then
apparently he was a traffic cop, a former traffic police officer who has declared himself Jesus reincarnated, has been arrested by Russian authorities in a special operation deep in Siberia. Helicopters and armed officers were used to infiltrate the communities run by Sergei Torop, 59, who is more commonly known by his cult name Vissarion. He and two aides, Vladimir Veternikov and Torop's right-hand man, Vadim Redkin, a former drummer in a Soviet-era boy band, were arrested in the operation run by agents from Russia's FSB security services, as well as police and other agencies. All three were led to waiting helicopters by masked police. Torop has been running his cult, the Church of the Last Testament, deep in the wilderness of Siberia since 1991. As the Soviet Union collapsed and after the loss of his job in 1998, he claims to have experienced an awakening in which he adopted the persona of Jesus. I am not God, and it is a mistake to see Jesus as God, but I am the living word of God the Father. Everything that God wants to say, he says through me, he told UK newspaper The Guardian in 2002. According to Russian media, Torop originally claimed that Jesus was watching humanity from close orbit to Earth and the Virgin Mary was running Russia, only later claiming to be Jesus. His community's beliefs draw on Orthodox Christianity and environmentalism, among other ideologies. Veganism is enforced and monetary exchange banned within the commune. Cult members dress austerely and count their calendar from 1961, the year of Torop's birth. Christmas has been replaced by a feast day on January 14th, his birthday. Although the Orthodox Church has long condemned the group, officials have been content to leave them alone until now. It is unclear why they have chosen to move against his commune. Russia's investigative committee has said it will charge him with running an illegal religious organization, alleging that cult members were extorted for money and subjected to emotional abuse. Some Russian media outlets have reported that the community had clashed with local business interests. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's probably what got him in trouble.
Yeah,
if I had a guess.
Some business owners having problems. They give Putin a call.
Putin, you must stop the new Jesus.
As long as you're just some crazy fuck living out in the middle of nowhere in Siberia, they're fine. But you start fucking with the flow of rubles.
Rubles.
Suddenly you end up in the gulag.
You must go to the gulag, comrade.
Hey, they're in Siberia, so at least they don't have to go far. It'll be a short journey.
The boys in the gulag will be happy to know that Jesus himself will be joining them soon.
Yeah, so this whole like arresting and persecuting thing didn't really work so great with the first Jesus. So I don't know if you should be doing this, Russia. You're probably better off just leaving this guy alone. But.
Has he been? I guess helicopters have already got him, so
yeah,
it wasn't like a fucking bloodbath or anything.
No,
you're a son of a DJ.
But this just you can still just end up martyring this dude with this shit. I don't know how big his following is, but.
Anybody that's interested in this, I recommend you go look at the Vice mini doc on it. It's from back when before Vice was total dog shit and a rag that's basically not worth reading. Every once in a while, a Vice story will come out that's kind of interesting now, but for the most part, they've just become BuzzFeed 2.0. But back in the day, Vice actually used to make some ballsy fucking documentaries and send to reporters.
Vice has some great documentaries about the environment, going to the Antarctica and looking at the fucking ice sheets and stuff. I mean, talking to climate scientists. Like, there's a lot of.
If you want to see some real ballsy investigative journalism, I'll recommend two other ones. This one here was ballsy enough. Going to the middle of Siberia to a cult you know very little about that's very secretive and trying to film it is always
sounds like the setup to a Resident Evil game, you know,
or Midsummer or some shit. But no, like there's two that I'd like to recommend to people. Old Vice documentaries. One is called The Cannibal Warlords of Liberia.
Oh, it's crazy.
Where Shane, I can't remember his last name. The guy that one of the co-founders of Vice, I don't even know if he's involved anymore. Goes to Liberia and interviews not only just average people on the streets, but people that participated in the kind of uprising there that were warlords that had troops and shit. He talks to people on both sides. It's very, very cool and kind of scary. And then also, if you haven't seen it, the Vice Guide to North Korea, in which the same guy basically illegally enters North Korea and illegally films his entire trip. It's one of the best looks inside North Korea that you can get still to this day. So.
Oh, dude, and watching anything about North Korea is like harrowing, man, because like the real conditions in the country are like, it's just unbelievable. So, but yeah, Paul, I'll tell you what, dude, those are two great recommendations. I urge everyone to watch this. TJ, if you've never seen any of that stuff, it's just crazy, the stuff you'll see. There's some great ones on Africa. There's actually this like kind of drink. It's like, I forget what the name of it is, but it's basically like
Warachi.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
That's Waraji. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, Wargin.
Yeah, there's like some crazy stuff, but yeah, Old Vice is good.
Final story. We can't. You have to log in to get the rest of it, but the headline is enough. Catching flu and COVID-19 at the same time almost doubles risk of death. Public Health England official warns that anyone who gets flu and coronavirus at once would be in some serious trouble.
I mean, that kind of goes without saying, right? Two incredibly strong and potent viral infections at once. That sounds like a recipe for croaking.
Wear a mask. Wear a mask. You know what? It's like, look, there's a number of things that people can do to stay safe. And I know, like, and unfortunately, the worst part about it is, you know, we're lucky that we do a podcast where we can do this. I know there's a lot of people that are so-called essential workers, you know, in the sense that, like, you are, but you're not. They don't really view you that way. Those people are going to be forced to be around assholes that don't wear masks and shit. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy how people are going to face this dual flu and COVID threat and have no real means of doing anything about it.
Yep.
And that's what I got. Those are the stories of the day. Gentlemen, any final thoughts on the state of the world?
The state of the world is good. Quite good.
Where's the exit? Can somebody point me towards the exit for this fucking ride? I want to get off.
There's an exit here, Paul.
No, TJ. That's mean. You shouldn't say that. That's not an exit.
It is. It really is.
That's not an exit. That's just leaving behind your pain for others to eat, TJ.
It is. It's true.
I'm looking for the actual ramp that leads me into the real world, TJ.
You're looking for the Berenstein universe, huh?
Morpheus, hit me up. I'm ready to take the fucking red pill. I'm ready to put my finger in the mirror and get eaten by the weird digital
that's
shit
why
and wake up in the fucking slime. Okay?
That's why I know that there's no way that the alien invasion is going to be the season finale. Because if there's UFOs, that means there's a chance of us to get off this fucking shithole. So that's too positive too.
Okay, so maybe the season finale isn't just the alien reveal. It's a reveal that they aren't nice.
Yeah.
So maybe it's floating above the Washington Monument, and the final scene of 2020 is the Washington Monument being blown to shit by some plasma weapon, and then it just cuts to black. Tune in next year for 2021.
I hope maybe the aliens. Here's the season. Here's what you could do with the alien thing. The aliens come in peace, and then Trump fires on them, and then they come in war. You know what I mean?
What if the aliens come and they give Trump a book named "To Serve Man," and he's like, "Oh, this sounds great. I'd like a Diet Coke." Maybe that would be a good ending.
Then they're like, "Come right this way, sir." See, this is a happy ending again, though. So you can't.
I know
2020 can't have a happy ending. 2020's got to have a fucked up ending.
Maybe mega COVID happens or some shit. COVID is mutated into mega COVID, an instantly deadly airborne viral agent that can travel for miles in the substratosphere.
COVID-19 has crossbred with the Ebola virus to form Ebola-19 or some shit.
Ebola.
Ebolid. You know?
Ebolid.
You breathe it in, your skin just instantly melts. It's like Indiana Jones shit.
And then the corpse
TJ, you know what we get? I'm surprised you haven't.
And starts eating the brains of the living.
Dude, I'm surprised at that you have not suggested these aliens, dude. Fuck that, dude. That they a portal opens and that they live aliens show up and it's like
they've been with us.
We have a deal for you,
dude. I want to fucking get the rights to They Live so I can make a They Live sequel. I want to make They Live again.
Good luck.
But
good luck with that.
I don't know who
John
has the
Carpenter
rights.
Is selling.
I need to get
John Carpenter.
I need to go to John Carpenter and be like, John Carpenter, give me these rights. It's like, you ever directed a film before? No. Give me them rights. Just give me them rights, motherfucker.
Do you have a screenplay or any ideas? No.
I have an idea, but I don't have a screenplay now.
What's your idea?
I just want to make it where, like, you know how at the end of They Live, it's kind of implied, like, the jig is up now. I want it to just create a future where, like, you know, everyone knows they're aliens and everyone knows they're fucking us, but everyone just still kind of passively accepts it. It's like, yeah, it's fucked up how these aliens rule over us, but, you know, what are you going to do,
They're
man?
more powerful. I mean, we can't do nothing.
Sarah, man. What are you going to do?
So, yeah, that was basically the idea. Anyway.
I like it.
Sounds pretty flimsy.
Fucking good. Yeah, there's not much to it. I need to beef it up a little bit, but that's the general gist. Because, I mean, that's really what would happen, right? Like, you know.
What's the principal action though? Is it just another guy that isn't gonna take it?
No, you got to have something a little bit. You got to go fucking a little bit.
That's the problem.
See, that's the problem. My problem with They Live. I love the movie, but it's a little too hopeful. I want to make it more bleak and despair.
What if the main character was one of like the skinless aliens that defends, that realizes that he's oppressing humanity and he's the one that tries to subvert it?
Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe he tries, but then he realizes at some point that humanity is literally too stupid to save itself.
Yeah.
Even with his help and guidance. And then he blows his brains out.
Or maybe he takes over and a new paradigm starts, and at first it seems like it's utopia, but we get like a little brief look at the future and it's just the same shit again. Like humans have just passively accepted another alien dominator. That'd be pretty good. There you go.
Something like that.
I'll take a 20% commission on the
20%
up of that script. I think that's reasonable, TJ.
Yeah, you can do some punch up and stuff. All right. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.
Big bad fight.